Chapter 1862. However, Lin Xian said indifferently, "You don't need to know who I am. All you need to know is that there will be an exhibition of the Saintess undergarments on Mount Hanfei in 2 days. At that time, I hope you can personally go and take a look. Then, you'll know whether your Saintess lost her undergarments or not." Damn it! Fan Hengfei gnashed his teeth in anger. The other party was too hateful. He had actually brought up this matter again and again. This was driving him crazy. He was about to attack again when Hualiener laughed and said, "What? Brother Fan, do you still want to attack? However, from the looks of it, you won't be able to defeat him. It's fine if you can't take him down, but don't let him take you down. That would be a huge joke." Fan Hengfei was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. The other party was obviously an ordinary king, but his strength was so strange. He couldn't figure it out. He even suspected that this was someone pretending to be a king in order to attack the All Beginnings Holy Land. Buzz! Just when everyone thought that Fan Hengfei couldn't attack, a sudden change occurred. A resplendent light shone. Then it turned into a shocking rainbow that ruthlessly chopped toward Lin Xian. This resplendent saber light was extremely sharp. It was like a divine red light that mercilessly chopped down. In an instant, Lin Xian was enveloped by it. To think that someone else would make a move. Everyone was shocked when they saw the scene. Lin Xian also frowned. In the next instant, he threw out the spirit wine in his hand. The spirit wine filled the sky and formed a lotus flower in the air. Moreover, it kept growing bigger and bigger. Combined with the surrounding spiritual energy, it spun rapidly. Clang! In the next instant, the lotus flower and saber light collided. "Who is it?" Lin Xian shouted coldly. "Heavenly Saber Sect, Qin Yi Dao." An ice-cold voice sounded. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. They didn't expect that someone from the Heavenly Saber Sect would come. It was indeed someone from the Heavenly Saber Sect. The saber light just now was too sharp. It was as if it was a real heavenly saber. Everyone whispered. It was obvious that the saber light just now had left a deep impression on them. Heavenly Saber Sect? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He had heard of this sect before. It was a great sect in the eastern wasteland, and the disciples in the sect mainly cultivated saber techniques. It was said that their heavenly blade was extremely powerful. If it was practiced to the peak, it could cut through everything in the world. He didn't expect that the people from this sect would come as well. "You want to attack me too?" Lin Xian asked indifferently. Although his opponent's saber technique was very powerful, Lin Xian's expression was calm, without any fear. In the next moment, a young man appeared on the stairs. This young man had an ordinary face, but his eyes were unusually sharp, and the aura on his body was incomparably radiant. It was as if a heavenly blade had been unsheathed, making people feel uncomfortable all over. "Naturally, I am here to teach you a lesson for Brother Fan. You're too arrogant. You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. The Wanchu Holy Land is not something you can provoke. I'm doing this for your own good. Hurry up and leave. Don't spread the news here." Hearing this, Lin Xian sneered, "You really have a glib tongue." However, this news isn't spread randomly. It's absolutely true. After Chen Yidao heard this, the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. "Kid, although you're strong and aren't any weaker than the Wanchu Holy Land's prodigies, I advise you to stop now. If you're targeted by the Wanchu Holy Land's experts, I'm afraid you won't be able to survive. As a person, you should know your own limits. The current you isn't qualified to compete with us." "Is that so? If I want to leave, no one can stop me," Lin Xian said indifferently. His words were filled with confidence. "Kid, you're too arrogant. Let me teach you a lesson." Qin Yidao's face sank, and a cold glint appeared in his eyes. Then it turned into 2 resplendent saber lights that slashed forward. These were saber lights formed from his eyes. They were very dazzling, as if they were divine red. They were unusually sharp. This kind of magical ability was too terrifying. A single gaze could turn into such terrifying saber lights. It was indeed shocking. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and a beam of light shot out from his eyes, like a divine sword being unsheathed. It turned into a shocking sword light that slashed forward. In terms of soul power and combat power, Lin Xian wouldn't lose to Qin Yidao. Therefore, he decisively attacked. Ka ka ka! Their gazes clashed in the air. It was like the collision of lightning, setting off a terrifying storm. The empty palace was dazzling. The saber lights and sword shadows were like fireworks. However, the surrounding people were frightened. They quickly retreated, afraid that they would be affected by this energy. They had no choice. Whether it was the saber lights or the sword shadows, they were too sharp. If they touched them, they wouldn't be able to withstand it. Seeing that Qin Yidao's gaze had turned into a shocking sword light, Qin Yidao's expression changed. He was surprised. This time, his attack wasn't a simple saber light attack. It contained a terrifying soul power. It could be said that it was invincible. However, Qin Yidao was able to block it. This was beyond his expectations. The next moment, Qin Yidao snorted coldly. His expression was incomparably cold. "You're very strong. You deserve my full strength. No need. I'm not here to fight." However, Lin Xian shook his head. He wasn't interested in fighting with Qin Yidao. "I'm here to pass you a message. In 2 days, there will be an exhibition of the Saintess undergarments. I hope you won't miss it." After saying that, his figure swayed and gradually dissipated, like a wisp of smoke. Seeing this, Fan Hengfei roared angrily. He shot out a chaotic light and swept it forward. However, Lin Xian's figure had completely disappeared. The chaotic light destroyed all the tables, chairs, and dishes, but didn't capture anyone's figure. Damn it! Seeing this, Fan Hengfei gritted his teeth in anger. He didn't expect Qin Yidao to escape. The surrounding people were moved. With Fan Hengfei present, they didn't dare to be too excited. However, everyone was excited. They decided to go to Hanfei Mountain to watch the exhibition in 2 days. Not only that, the news spread like a gust of wind, instantly spreading to the entire northern region. In an instant, everyone set off for Hanfei Mountain. However, the northern region was too big. Some warriors who were far away couldn't even fly there in 2 days, unless they used a large-scale transmission formation. But that kind of formation generally consumed a lot of resources. Those who wanted to use it and could use it were not ordinary people. Even so, a large number of warriors still came to Hanfei Mountain. Hanfei Mountain was a very high mountain among the vast mountains. At the top of this mountain, there was snow and cold wind whistling, as if the northern country was frozen. That was why it was called Hanfei Mountain. From this, one could imagine how tall this mountain was. This was the place Lin Xian had chosen for the exhibition. However, he was not at the top of the mountain, but at the mountainside. There was a huge platform there, as if it had been cut into pieces by a giant sword. It was very spacious. It was large enough to accommodate tens of thousands of people. In this place, the Crimson Dragon had already set up countless formations to protect Lin Xian and the others. Chapter 1863. After this news spread, all the warriors in the surrounding area started to gather here. Even those who were nearby had all rushed over ahead of time. Lin Xian also came in advance. But this time the Crimson Dragon and Lu Mingyue still didn't show up. After all, if the two of them came out, everyone would definitely guess their identities. Therefore, for safety's sake, Lin Xian came out alone this time. Lin Xian still changed his appearance to that of an ordinary king as he arrived at the peak of the mountain. There were already many people here. Warriors were everywhere and they were all talking. Everyone was very excited. Obviously, this was a grand occasion. They would be able to see the legendary Saintess undergarment. Not only that, there were warriors landing from the sky from time to time. Obviously, more warriors were on their way. Buzz! A rainbow saber cut through the sky, and then a 5-colored divine boat flew over. It was surrounded by 5-colored rays of light and fell from the sky, emitting a terrifying aura. Then, countless young disciples walked down from the divine boat. All of them were in high spirits and had powerful auras. Their faces were glowing. Their eyes were shining. These were the disciples of the 5-Element sect. They had come as a group to watch. When the surrounding warriors saw this scene, they were also talking. They didn't expect that a saintess undergarment could cause such a big commotion. They didn't know what other powerful figures had come to watch. So far, most of the people gathered on the mountain peak were young warriors and disciples. There were also some middle-aged people. Few of the older generation had come. After all, it was okay for the young people to be excited. But if the elders of the sects came to watch, they would probably be laughed at. At that time, it wouldn't be the saintess of all beginnings who would be embarrassed, but the elders who came to watch. Therefore, the elders of the sacred grounds and sects wouldn't come. They would only send their young disciples. On the mountain peak, many people surrounded the people from the 5-Element sect and invited them away like stars surrounding the bright moon. It was a good opportunity to make friends with the 5-Element sect. Some people naturally wouldn't miss it. After that, the Liang family, the moon, worshipping cult, the 4 symbols sacred grounds, and other powerful sects and families all came. Countless young disciples gathered. The corners of Lin Xian's lips curled up at the sight. This scene was more magnificent than he had imagined. Soon he narrowed his eyes because he had discovered a special person. He didn't do it. The other party was Fan Hengfei. He didn't expect him to come. "Brother Fan, you're early." It seems that you also think that your saintess lost her undergarment, right? Lin Xian smiled and went over to greet them. "It's you." Fan Hengfei turned around and stared at Lin Xian. To be honest, he was very angry because he found that so many people had come to watch the exhibition. This drove him crazy. However, he did not dare to say anything. Now was not the time for him to behave atrociously. There were so many people here. If he were to cause trouble here, he would probably be beaten to death by everyone. He was waiting. He was waiting for the All Beginnings Holy Land's experts to arrive. That way they could act together. However, he didn't expect someone to call out to him at this moment. Moreover, he recognized this person. It was the ordinary king who had spread the news in the restaurant 2 days ago. Back then, he had let the other party escape. Who would have thought that the other party would actually take the initiative to come knocking on his door? "Brat, since you've come here to die, then don't blame me." Fan Hengfei's lips curled into a sinister smile. The majority of the people who had come this time were disciples of the Holy Land's great sections. With so many people gathered together, Fan Hengfei was unable to resist them with his strength alone. Thus, he would not attack these people for the time being. However, the other party was merely a loose cultivator. Although the other party had been able to contend against him last time, Fan Hengfei believed that he had been too careless. Moreover, the other party had not used his full strength. If he had used his full strength, he would have definitely been able to slap the other party to death. Now that he had encountered the other party, it was the best opportunity to attack. He wanted to kill the other party to relieve the hatred in his heart. Seeing the ice-cold glint in Fan Hengfei's eyes, Lin Xian smiled. "What, you still want to attack me? Could it be that the lesson I taught you last time was not enough? Or do you want everyone to know that you are a cultivator of the All Beginnings Holy Land?" Fan Hengfei's expression changed. This time he had come in disguise. Although he had not changed his appearance, he had changed his clothes. He was no longer wearing the clothes of the All Beginnings Holy Land. Instead, he was wearing a set of blue clothes. However, there was no symbol of his sect on them. If he were the symbol of the All Beginnings Holy Land, he would definitely be surrounded by people and treated as a weirdo. However, if Fan Hengfei were to shout at him at this time, everyone would know his identity. Then everyone would know his identity, and he wouldn't have the face to stay here any longer. Thinking of this, Fan Hengfei's expression became even more gloomy. Brat, you dare to threaten me? You are truly reckless. Originally, I wanted to slap you to death and give you a quick death. But now I have changed my mind. I will properly torture you. I will let you know the feeling of living a life worse than death. Fan Hengfei gnashed his teeth furiously. However, Lin Xian shook his head. Then he loudly said, "Quickly, come and take a look." Someone is about to attack. There were originally a lot of people on the mountain peak. When they heard Fan Hengfei's voice, countless gazes immediately turned toward him. Lin Xian chuckled. He did not seem to care at all. After all, he had changed his appearance. No one would recognize him. As for Fan Hengfei, his complexion darkened. He felt as if those rays of light were sharp blades. They made him feel extremely uncomfortable and made him want to run away. However, he still consoled himself. He believed that no one would be able to recognize him. However, the surrounding cultivators were discussing amongst themselves. Who is that person? He looks so familiar. Now that you mention it, I also feel that he looks familiar. Everyone was discussing spiritedly. They were all trying to guess the identity of Fan Hengfei and Fan Hengfei. Lin Xian did not move. However, Fan Hengfei was nervous. Then, with a swoosh, he used primal chaos energy to cover his face. Humph, I will cover my face. Let's see if you can still guess who I am. Fan Hengfei sneered. With his face covered, no one would be able to see his face. Thus, they would not know who he was. Lin Xian was stunned. He never thought that Fan Hengfei would be such an idiot. Then he shook his head. What an idiot. His IQ was too low. Indeed, Fan Hengfei was an idiot. If he did not use primal chaos energy, no one would be able to recognize him. But now, he used primal chaos energy to cover his face. Although these people couldn't see his face clearly, his identity was immediately exposed. As expected, the surrounding cultivators cried out in alarm. Primal chaos energy. He is someone from the All Beginnings Holy Land. What? Someone from the All Beginnings Holy Land has also come? It seems that it is true. Even their own people can't help but want to take a look. Ha ha ha, this is too funny. I reckon that this brother is trying to cover his face so that we won't be able to recognize his identity. I never thought that he would use primal chaos energy. What an idiot. Discussions rang out. Many of them were mocking Fan Hengfei. Chapter 1864. Damn it, I actually forgot. Fan Hengfei was startled, and his complexion became incomparably ugly. He had only thought of covering his face, and in a moment of desperation, he had actually used his primal chaos energy. This primal chaos energy was something that only the All Beginnings Holy Land's martial artists could use. Thus, he had definitely exposed his identity. Sure enough, when he heard the surrounding voices, he had an impulse to run away. He even wished he could find a place to hide. After all, this was just too shameful. Across from him, Lin Xian chuckled and said, "Well, you were the one who exposed your identity. You can't blame me for that." He truly didn't expect that the other party would be so stupid as to expose his identity so easily. As for Fan Hengfei, the more he heard, the angrier he became. He gnashed his teeth, and an icy light bloomed in his eyes. "It's you, it's all because of you. If it wasn't for you, how could I have exposed my identity? You dared to expose my identity? Die for me." Fan Hengfei's body surged with killing intent. Since his identity had already been exposed, he might as well let loose and stop concealing himself. He decided to immediately attack and kill this person. Then he would leave and find an opportunity to join up with the All Beginnings Holy Land's people to destroy this exhibition. What a powerful aura! As the surrounding people felt the aura surging from Fan Hengfei's body, they immediately cried out in alarm. This aura caused their complexions to change. Their mocking expressions were replaced with solemn ones. This was definitely a Heaven's Pride level martial artist. Only someone who could display such a powerful aura could display such a powerful aura. They didn't dare to provoke such a person. But soon, they shifted their gazes to Lin Xian. At the same time, they began to discuss him once more. Who is this person? He can actually contend against a Heaven's Pride of the All Beginnings Holy Land? Could he also be a Heaven's Pride disciple of some holy land? I don't think so. There isn't any terrifying aura coming from his body. Could he be a loose cultivator? That can't be. A loose cultivator wants to challenge a Heaven's Pride of the All Beginnings Holy Land? Isn't he just seeking death? Everyone discussed spiritedly as if they had seen a ghost. All the nearby martial artists were stunned. In their opinion, Lin Xian was too bold. He actually dared to recklessly provoke the All Beginnings Holy Land. Hearing the surrounding discussions, Fan Hengfei revealed a smug smile. Brat, did you hear that? A small, loose cultivator dares to provoke me? Die for me. He raised his palm, and chaotic qi revolved around his body. Then he struck out with his palm. Terrifying chaotic energy surged, releasing endless light. It formed a chaotic palm that slapped out fiercely. Everyone cried out in alarm. This palm exceeded their expectations and was extremely powerful. That kid is dead for sure. The geniuses of the All Beginnings Holy Land are much stronger than I imagined. Indeed, his opponent was still a 6-star king, and a very powerful one at that. Most likely, even ordinary 6-star kings wouldn't be a match for him. Everyone shook their heads. On the other hand, Lin Xian's expression was calm. He stood with his hands clasped behind his back, quietly looking at his opponent. He waited until the chaotic palm was right in front of him before he made his move. Using his finger like a sword, he slowly raised his finger and slashed forward. At the tip of his finger, a sharp sword light flickered. Whong! In the next moment, the two collided with a thunderous sound. The sound waves surrounded the entire mountain range and spread out in all directions. At this moment, everyone turned their heads and looked over. Chaotic qi exploded in the sky, turning into balls of chaotic light that enveloped the entire sky. That's primal chaos qi. It's an expert from the All Beginnings Holy Land. Many people cried out in alarm as they rushed over. As for the cultivators that were watching the battle, they frantically retreated, afraid that they would be affected by the chaotic light. What a terrifying chaotic palm. It seems that kid is dead for sure. He'll probably be slapped to death. He's really stupid. Although the All Beginnings Holy Land suffered a great loss this time and their reputation was damaged, they aren't a sect that can be provoked by just anyone. Discussions and sneers could be heard. Clearly, they believed that Lin Xian was hopeless. However, when the primal chaos qi in the sky scattered and everyone looked forward, they were all dumbfounded. Their eyes were wide open as if they had seen a ghost. The smiles on their faces froze and were abnormally unsightly. That was because Lin Xian was standing with his hands clasped behind his back. His clothes were fluttering in the wind, and he looked confident and at ease. He wasn't injured in the slightest. On the other hand, Fan Hengfei's face was incomparably pale. His right hand was hanging by his side, and there was a sword hole in his palm. Deep white bones could be seen, and blood was flowing all over the ground. What? How could this be? Heavens! Who is this kid? He actually managed to injure a genius of the All Beginnings Holy Land with a single move? What a terrifying sword energy! He was actually able to pierce through the primal chaos qi. This is truly unexpected. Which sect is he from? Why can't I recognize him? Countless discussions could be heard. The surrounding cultivators were all extremely shocked. No one dared to look down on Lin Xian anymore. After all, only a young expert could injure Fan Hengfei with a single move. Furthermore, he was a peak expert. Lin Xian sneered disdainfully. His opponent had actually dared to fight him. He was truly reckless. One must know that even the 10,000 Lightning Saint Sun had been beaten like a stray dog by him, let alone his opponent. Damn it! You dare injure me! Fan Hongfei gnashed his teeth. The injury on his hand was truly too painful. Not only that, but the remnant sword energy on his hand couldn't be easily removed. This caused him to be extremely alarmed. In other words, his wound couldn't heal at all. Furthermore, he had never imagined that his opponent would be able to injure him. Originally, he had thought that his palm strike would be enough to kill his opponent. However, the reality was the complete opposite. His opponent hadn't received any injuries, while his palm had been nearly crippled. I already told you, don't fight me because you can't beat me. Look at you. You just didn't listen to me. Now you've tasted the pain. Lin Xian shook his head. Fan Hongfei's complexion darkened. He took out some pills from his storage ring and quickly swallowed them. Then he used the primal chaos qi to seal his wound so that the sword energy wouldn't spread any further. In the next moment, he roared. A beam of primal chaos light rushed out of his body and floated above his head. It was a square seal. Primal chaos qi revolved around it. It was also mixed with the power of thunder and lightning. 10,000 beams of primal chaos light descended from it. It enveloped his body. That's the primal chaos lightning seal. Someone cried out in alarm. Clearly, they recognized this magic treasure. This was a special ability of the All Beginnings Holy Land. By fusing primal chaos qi into a treasure, it would form a very powerful weapon. Sure enough, in the next moment, Fan Hongfei activated the primal chaos lightning seal. Immediately, a terrifying power surged out. The primal chaos qi that filled the sky interweaved with the terrifying lightning, forming a powerful pressure that caused the surrounding cultivators to turn deathly pale. In fact, they even felt their hearts palpitating. The terrifying primal chaos lightning seal blossomed with radiance. It was as big as a basketball and emitted an enormous aura. Even the void couldn't withstand this enormous power. As for the ground, it split open, causing cracks to appear. Chapter 1865. Lin Xian furrowed his brows. It wasn't because the other party's precious weapon was powerful, but because the other party dared to destroy this place. One had to know that there was a formation set up here. If he activated it ahead of time and scared these people away, it would be difficult to deal with the following matters. Most likely, these people would flee and think that this was a trap. Therefore, he had to make a move. He couldn't let the other party destroy this place. In the next instant, he decisively made his move. His figure flickered as he rushed over. He raised his hand and formed a dragon claw. A dragon-shaped phantom coiled around his fingers and grabbed forward. The terrifying dragon-capturing hand descended, shaking the void. Immediately, the primal chaos energy and sea of lightning that filled the sky split apart. However, the primal chaos lightning seal didn't receive any damage. On the contrary, the radiance of the lightning seal became even brighter. It seemed like a huge lightning mountain. Rumble. Lightning descended, and the primal chaos energy tore apart the void. Even Lin Xian felt an enormous pressure. However, countless sharp sword rays rushed out of his body and circled around him, forming a powerful sword formation that blocked the terrifying lightning and primal chaos energy. He actually blocked it. The surrounding people were extremely shocked. Who is this person? He's actually so powerful that he can block the treasure of the All Beginnings Holy Land? That's right. His sword energy is too sharp. Everyone frowned as they carefully observed the situation in front of them. However, what shocked them even more was yet to come. That was because Lin Xian had not only unleashed sharp sword aura and formed a sword formation, but he had also quickly counterattacked in the next moment. Terrifying sword energy soared into the sky, forming a qilin that filled the void. This was the qilin sword technique that Lin Xian had comprehended from the qilin arm. Now that he used it, its might was peerless. Roar! Sword energy filled the sky, forming a huge qilin. It roared in all directions, causing the void to collapse. Fan Hengfei's expression changed as soon as he heard this sound. Deep shock appeared in his eyes. He felt a powerful danger from that qilin. Therefore, he decisively made his move again. 5 rays of primal chaos energy rushed out of his body and condensed before him, forming a blade of primal chaos energy. In the next instant, the primal chaos lightning seal appeared above Fan Hengfei's head. He held the blade of primal chaos energy and slashed it forward. Boom! The blade of chaotic light expanded in the wind, reaching a length of 100 meters. It slashed forward viciously. The entire void began to vibrate rapidly like a painting. That person was too terrifying. He was definitely an elite of the All Beginnings Holy Land. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to cultivate the light of chaos to such a terrifying level. Everyone felt their scalps go numb when they sensed the terrifying saber light in the sky. This power was too strong. Even an Elite 6 Star King wouldn't be able to withstand it. On the other side, Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes, but the corners of his mouth curled up into a sneer. The light of chaos? This wasn't the first time he had seen it, so he naturally wasn't afraid. In the next moment, he waved his arm, and the huge fire qilin in the sky roared. The sky was filled with flames, and the terrifying sword light shot out in all directions. Then the fire qilin rushed forward. The void cracked open, and the chaotic blade lights that filled the sky trembled rapidly. They even dimmed significantly. Boom! Seeing this, Lin Xian attacked again. With a wave of his arm, another fire qilin rushed out. The 2 fire qilins ran side by side, roaring in the void, and instantly shattered the terrifying chaotic blade light. What a sharp sword qi! It actually shattered the chaotic blade light. Everyone's eyes widened in disbelief. The chaotic blade light was incomparably terrifying. Very few people of the same cultivation level could block it, but now it had shattered so easily. It had to be said that this had shocked them greatly. Fan Hengfei's expression also turned grave, and his complexion became extremely unsightly. He hadn't expected that his chaotic blade light would shatter, but in the next moment he clenched his teeth and activated the primal chaos lightning seal above his head with all his strength, launching a second fierce attack. This time, the primal chaos lightning seal's main body rushed out rapidly. Then it enlarged in the sky, resembling an ancient lightning mountain. Terrifying lightning energy descended, and chaotic energy descended. It seemed as if it could destroy everything in the world. In fact, this power was enough to contend with someone at the level of a saint. Humph! Seeing the primal chaos lightning seal rushing over, Lin Xian coldly snorted, and his eyes shone brightly. Then numerous qilin runes appeared on his right hand. Qilin arm. Boundless 9 underworld demonic flames surged out of his body. Boundless energy accompanied his fist as it rapidly punched forward. Boom! A fire qilin was born from the flames. Its entire body was as black as ink, as if it had rushed out from hell. Fierce winds blew between heaven and earth, and terrifying energy rushed into the sky. Boom! Then, Lin Xian's fist transformed into a dark fire qilin and collided with the primal chaos lightning seal. Seeing the scene, the surrounding people gasped in shock. What? He actually fought against an Earth rank treasure barehanded? Is this guy crazy? That's an Earth rank treasure, and it contains chaotic energy. It's incomparably terrifying. It's over. This kid's palm is definitely crippled. Not necessarily. I think this kid is very powerful. Why does that Qilin of his feel like a Qilin's arm? What? You think highly of him? You must have water in your head. Don't tell me you believe that he can fight against an earth-rank treasure barehanded? Although a small number of people thought highly of Lin Xian, most people thought that Lin Xian's brain had water in his head. He actually dared to fight against an earth-rank treasure barehanded. Boom! Boom! In the sky, the loud rumbling continued. The primal chaos lightning seal and the dark fire Qilin collided, forming an extremely powerful energy storm. Only after a long time did the storm gradually dissipate. Then, everyone's eyes widened because a huge fist mark appeared on the primal chaos lightning seal. Not only that, but there were also many cracks around it. What? He actually left a fist mark. No way, that kid actually almost broke the Earth-rank treasure. What kind of fist technique is that? Isn't it too violent? Everyone was stunned. In fact, they didn't know that although it looked like a single fist, Lin Xian had fused many of his unique skills. It formed a terrifying fist technique. Among them, there was the Great Dragon Sword Soul, which had super strong attack power, the world-destroying Black Dragon Scroll, the violent destructive energy, and the Qilin's arm's yang strength. The combination of these three unique skills was naturally terrifying. Even though it was an earth-rank treasure, it was almost blasted apart. Impossible! Fan Hengfei looked at this scene with a pained expression. That was his life weapon. After fusing with chaotic energy, it was incomparably terrifying. Even a saint wouldn't be able to break it. However, his opponent's fist had almost blasted his weapon away. He really didn't dare to believe it. However, just as he was in a daze, a black fist quickly grew larger and enveloped him. Then, the dark fire Qilin roared. It raised its huge beast claw and slammed into Fan Hengfei, sending him flying. Fan Hengfei flew backward, vomiting blood. The energy that filled the sky also instantly disappeared. Chapter 1866. What? The All Beginnings Holy Land's genius was defeated? How is that possible? That can't be right. That All Beginnings Holy Land's disciple is extremely powerful. In fact, he's almost comparable to a holy sun. He's extremely powerful. Very few people can defeat him. Yet the other party defeated him so easily. Who is he? Sounds of discussion rang out. They kept sizing up Lin Xian, trying to figure out his identity. As for Lin Xian, his figure flickered as he chased after Su Qin. The black Qilin appeared in his hand once again as he prepared to kill his opponent. This fellow had repeatedly caused trouble for him and had even tried to ruin his carefully arranged killing trap. Thus, how could he not make a move? The black fire Qilin circled in the air. Then it opened its bloody mouth and spat out black flames that filled the sky. Whoosh! The 9 underworld demonic flames gushed out. They were like the flames of hell as they spread across the sky. They carried a sinister and berserk aura. As soon as they appeared, they swept downwards. Stop! Right at this moment, a cold shout rang out from the distance. Then a figure rushed over like a bolt of lightning. What? An expert has come to help? Could it be an expert from the All Beginnings Holy Land? The crowd naturally saw the figure flying over from the distance. However, Su Qin remained unmoved. Instead, his hand movements became even fiercer. The black flames that filled the sky quickly swept forward and enveloped Fan Hengfei. Ah! Whoosh! Fan Hengfei only had time to scream before he was burned to ashes. How audacious! The expert in the sky descended. However, he was still a step too late. He hadn't expected that Su Qian would dare to attack and kill the All Beginnings Holy Land's genius. The surrounding crowd was in an uproar. They hadn't expected Lin Xian to be so decisive. Was he not afraid of the All Beginnings Holy Land's revenge? Brat, are you deaf? Didn't you hear what I said? The expert in the sky said in an ice-cold voice. What? It's him. When the surrounding people saw that figure, they all trembled. Chen Yidao, the Heavenly Saber Sect's elite genius. I didn't expect that he would be the one who came to rescue him. Lin Xian frowned. He naturally knew this person. Previously in the restaurant, this guy had already targeted him. Who would have thought that he would dare to come here again? He sneered. Who do you think you are? How dare you order me around? Although the Heavenly Blade sect was terrifying and others feared them, Lin Xian did not fear them at all. Crazy, crazy. This kid is crazy. How dare he talk to Chen Yidao like that? Everyone felt their scalps go numb, as if they had seen a ghost. I'm guessing that this guy doesn't know Chen Yidao at all. Otherwise, he definitely wouldn't have such an attitude. Yes, Chen Yidao is the successor, holy son of the Heavenly Saber Sect. He even has the battle strength of a sage-to-be. He can be said to be incomparably powerful. No matter how strong this brat is, it's impossible for him to defeat Chen Yidao. Chen Yidao's face darkened when he heard Lin Xian's arrogant words. Do you know who I am? How dare you speak to me like that? No matter who you are, my attitude will not change. If you don't want to die, then scram while I'm in a good mood. I don't want to kill anyone. Lin Xian shouted coldly. Good, good, good. What an arrogant brat. It seems that I, Chen Yidao, am not famous enough. You haven't heard of me, but it doesn't matter. I will use my strength to let you know my reputation. Chen Yidao, are you very powerful? Lin Xian sneered. Besides, it's none of my business whether you are powerful or not. You don't know your place. He looked as if he didn't care at all, and even began to fix his nails. Seeing this, Chen Yidao's face became gloomier. He found that he had been ignored. He had never experienced such a feeling before. One had to know that his strength was extremely powerful. Even people at the level of Holy Sun would not ignore him. But now he was ignored, and that frivolous attitude made him very angry. It's over, it's over. This brat is really crazy. It seems that he has definitely angered Chen Yidao. He will end up very miserably. There are actually people who don't know Chen Yidao. Is he a warrior from the northern region? No matter whether he is or not, he can't escape today. The crowd discussed. What a sharp-tongued brat. Today, I will teach you a good lesson and let you know how powerful I am. As a prospective holy son, Chen Yidao finally couldn't stand it anymore. He took a step forward, and the aura on his body instantly became fierce, as if a divine saber had been unsheathed. His vigorous and powerful palm also held the long saber at his waist. He is just a small rogue cultivator. Killing him is as easy as turning over my palm. Brother Yidao, you don't have to do it. Why don't you let me teach this brat a lesson and let him know how powerful Brother Yidao is? At this moment, a young man sneered and stood out. He didn't attack at this time. It was suspected that he wanted to give Chen Yidao face and rope him in. Chen Yidao naturally understood this. He looked at the young man and nodded slightly. Very well. If you can kill him, I will give you a chance to be friends. Thank you, Brother Yidao. The young man in green was ecstatic. He came out to become Chen Yidao's friend and enter his circle. In that way, it would be very beneficial for him. After all, Chen Yidao was a prospective holy son, and his strength and talent were very powerful. It was not impossible for him to become the holy son of the Sky Saber sect in the future. Brat, how dare you offend Brother Yidao? It seems that you are really courting death. The young man in green turned his head and stared coldly at Lin Xian. The corners of his mouth curled up into a devilish smile. Only then did the crowd see the appearance of the young man in green clearly. Then they gasped. The young man in green was quite handsome. However, half of his face was engraved with red lines, which looked very ferocious. Together, they formed the shape of a scorpion. With such a ferocious pattern engraved on his face, it was obvious that he was not a kind person. He must be a vicious person. In the next moment, he turned his palm and took out a dark red square box. Then he quickly opened it. Along with it, there was a strong demonic aura and an extremely cold aura. A monstrous smell of blood rushed to their faces, making their scalps tingle. Then, a red spider the size of a palm crawled out. The spider was blood red, as if it was carved from blood jade. On top of it, there were mysterious patterns. Its 8 legs were extremely red, as if blood could drip out. The blood jade demon spider is actually such a venomous creature. Seeing the blood-red spider, the crowd's pupils constricted and they subconsciously took 3 steps back. Many people exclaimed as they looked at the blood-red spider. Their faces were unusually pale. This is an extremely venomous spider. It is rumored that its venom can kill a mighty figure. Damn it! Why would such a venomous spider appear here? Everyone be careful. Don't touch it. Otherwise, you will definitely be poisoned to death. Many exclamations were heard. There were also some kind-hearted people who quickly reminded them. Chapter 1867. Everyone be careful. Don't touch it, or you'll definitely be poisoned to death. Exclamations were heard, and there were some kind-hearted people who quickly reminded them. What, a blood spider that can kill an almighty? Hearing this, those who did not understand the situation were horrified, and their scalps went numb. Although they did not know the blood jade demon spider before, the fact that it could kill an almighty was enough to show how powerful the spider was. In an instant, everyone retreated, leaving a large open space. Even Chang'e Dao was stunned, but then a cold smile appeared on his face. Originally, he was a little worried and doubted the strength of the young man in green. Could he kill him? However, when he saw the other party take out the blood jade demon spider, he relaxed. With such a poisonous spider, coupled with the strength of the young man in green, even he had to be careful. It should be enough to kill him. Kid, I'll give you one last chance. Kneel down obediently and kowtow to Brother Idao, and I'll spare your life. Otherwise, if you're bitten by my baby, you'll be dead. The young man in green sneered, and his entire person looked extremely demonic. Lin Xian also frowned. He did not expect the young man to have a blood jade demon spider. It was really unexpected. However, he wanted to defeat him with just a poisonous spider? How naive! The next moment, he sneered. Your poisonous spider is not an adult yet. Don't you think it's a little too early to take it out? If I kill it, don't cry. You're really a reckless kid. How dare you look down on my blood jade demon spider? The young man in green snorted. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Baby, go and suck his blood dry. The next moment, the young man in green waved his hand, and the blood jade demon spider in his hand turned into a bloody light and rushed out quickly. Buzz! Its speed was very fast, and in an instant it was in front of Lin Xian. Humph! Lin Xian snorted, and then clapped his hands. Countless amounts of spiritual qi condensed and turned into a spiritual energy hand that slapped forward. Smack! The spiritual energy hand fell and slapped the blood jade demon spider to the ground. What? Is it over just like that? When the crowd saw this scene, they were all dumbfounded. They couldn't believe that he was killed so easily. That was an extremely terrifying poisonous spider. How could it be killed so easily? Sure enough, in the next moment, the void trembled, and a tearing sound could be heard. Soon after, the spirit energy palm quickly split open, and a red light flew out again. As expected, there isn't any. Everyone cried out in alarm. They discovered that the blood jade demon spider was completely unharmed. Its entire body was sparkling and translucent, and blood-colored light rushed into the sky. It had not received any damage. The green-clothed youth sneered. Not only is its poison powerful, its defense is also astonishing. Even an earth-step treasure might not be able to injure it. The young man in green was very confident. His blood jade demon spider was indeed terrifying. That was why he dared to stand out and help Qin Dao. Lin Xian was also surprised. Even a 6-star king would be severely injured by his palm strike. Who would have thought that a mere venomous spider would be able to remain unscathed? He had to admit that this was indeed out of his expectations. But that was all. That palm strike just now was just a casual strike. It could be considered a probing attack. He didn't expect to kill his opponent so easily, but now he was going to use his true strength. Buzz. On the opposite side, the blood jade demon spider shone brightly, and the blood-colored light sprinkled in all directions. In an instant, the sky, the ground, and the surrounding mountains were all dyed blood red. Along with it, there was a dense, demonic aura. Furthermore, within that blood-colored radiance, there was a frightening, poisonous gas. Oh no! Seeing the blood-colored light, the surrounding kings were all shocked. They formed layers of defense to block the blood-colored light. There was also the poisonous gas in the air. Lin Xian also frowned slightly. In the next moment, countless sword lights shot out from his body and shrouded him. The terrifying sword qi shone brightly and illuminated the surroundings, easily shattering the void. At this moment, Lin Xian's entire body was shining with sword lights. He was so powerful that no one dared to look directly at him. On the tip of his finger, sword lights flickered like spirit snakes. Puff! With a wave of his arm, countless sword qi gushed out, forming sword lights that filled the sky and turned into spirit snakes. In an instant, countless spirit, snake-like sword lights shrouded the blood jade demon spider. Those sword lights were very sharp and carried a powerful aura. Even though everyone was far away and had put up their defenses, they still felt a tremor. In fact, they even felt a sense of trepidation. Boom! In the next moment, countless sword qi blasted on the blood jade demon spider. Boom! 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 Light flashed in the sky. On one side, it was like a sea of blood that kept surging. On the other side, it soared into the sky and turned into a sword wind that swept in all directions. The two forces kept colliding, and it was abnormally terrifying. Crack! Crack! Cracks appeared on the red light that filled the sky, and it shattered like a mirror. On the other side, the sword lights that filled the sky became sharper and sharper. They were like the Milky Way, blooming with a monstrous aura. It swept through everything in the world. Seeing this, the young man in green finally changed his expression. He did not expect the other party's sword qi to be so sharp. He could not help but worry about his blood jade demon spider. He quickly took out a short flute, put it to his mouth, and played a strange tune. Woo-woo! A strange sound was heard. It was obviously a strange method of control. As expected, after the blood jade demon spider heard the sound, its body bloomed with red light and shot into the sky. The terrifying demonic aura on its body became even more intense. The monstrous red light intertwined and formed a sea of blood. It kept surging and emitting a monstrous aura. Finally, it formed a blood-red wave that surged with dense demonic aura. This force was too terrifying. The void could not withstand it and collapsed quickly. Amidst the sea of blood, the blood jade demon spider spat out 3 white spider threads. They were crystal clear and seemed to be transparent. They contained a terrifying poison. This poison was not something that even the Almighties dared to touch. The 3 almost transparent poison lines quickly attacked Lin Xian. It was silent and hidden in the sea of blood. It could be said that it was very difficult to detect. However, Lin Xian's soul power was so strong that it was not inferior to the Almighty's. Therefore, he naturally felt the potential danger. Suddenly, he snorted and a sharp light burst out from his eyes. In the next moment, he bent his fingers and countless sword qi quickly gathered, forming a terrifying, murderous aura. Annihilation sword wave. Instantly, with him as the center, sword waves quickly spread out in all directions. The sword waves were abnormally terrifying. They instantly shattered the void, and everything in their path was cut in half. Crack! Crack! The sea of blood in the sky was cut in half, creating a large vacuum. The terrifying energy disappeared under the sword waves and turned into ashes. Chapter 1868. In the distance, the young man in green's eyes flickered. The blood, see, wasn't his trump card. His trump card was the 3 transparent poison lines. As long as those things hit his opponent would definitely die. Therefore, he did not care that the blood sea was destroyed. Kid, let's see how you can dodge my poison lines. Just you wait, you'll be poisoned to death soon. When the time comes, you'll know how powerful my blood jade demon spider is. The young man in green sneered. However, in the next moment he was stunned, and there was even a hint of doubt in his eyes. That was because the 3 poison lines had turned into powder in the terrifying sword wave and no longer existed. Damn it! How is this possible? The young man in green's face was unusually gloomy. How could his opponent discover the 3 poison lines? One had to know that it was soundless and almost transparent, hidden in the sea of blood that filled the sky. Even the mighty ones might not be able to discover them. However, his opponent had done it, and he had even destroyed all 3 poison lines with extreme precision. Damn it, this kid must be lucky to have destroyed my poison lines by accident. The young man in green snorted coldly and thought to himself. In the next moment, he was ready to use another powerful technique. However, he soon screamed. That was because the terrifying sword wave was still going on, and it was getting more and more terrifying. It was like a real dragon, swinging its tail, sweeping in all directions. Soon, the sword wave that filled the sky blasted onto the blood jade demon spider. The blood jade demon spider could not withstand it at all, and was directly cut in half. No. The young man in green screamed crazily with a ferocious expression. He didn't expect that his treasure would be killed. This was something he couldn't accept and didn't dare to believe. One had to know that it was a mutated species. Not only was its poison powerful, but its defense was also extremely strong. Even an Earth-rank artifact could not kill it. However, his opponent had only used 1 sword wave to cut his blood jade demon spider, which was something he did not expect at all. The onlookers in the distance were also shocked. What kind of sword chi is that? How can it be so powerful? It can even kill the blood jade demon spider? Yeah, it's too terrifying. I've never seen such a powerful sword chi before. Could this kid have the legendary sword god's constitution? Some people even voiced out such doubts. It couldn't be. That kind of constitution was very special, and even the 10,000 swords manor didn't have it. The sword god's body was one of the most terrifying physiques in the Eastern Barren Territory. It only existed in legends. This kind of physique coexisted with the saint body, divine body, and chaotic body of the clan of the ancients. It was extremely terrifying, but it was very rare. It had only appeared once in the ancient times, and it had set off a terrifying storm. In that era, he was one of the most dazzling figures. Now, everyone had seen Lin Xian's sharp sword aura. He immediately thought of the sword god's body, but no one dared to be sure. "Brat, I'll kill you." Seeing his blood jade spider killed, the green-clothed man roared again and again. Then he pulled out a dagger and quickly rushed over. Whong! The cold dagger slashed through the air, and a blue light wave surged forward. Like the waves of the sea, they bombarded the void. Lin Xian sneered disdainfully and punched out. A terrifying fist flashed and immediately shattered the blade. Then his 5 fingers turned into a claw, forming a 5-finger mountain and pushing downwards. Stone steels appeared on his palm. They were formed by the condensation of spiritual power and were extremely huge. It was as if the sky-piercing divine steels were going to suppress the green-clothed man. "Damn it, block for me." The green-clothed man shouted angrily and quickly counterattacked. The dagger in his hand kept stabbing out, forming a sharp blade. Clang! 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 However, his terrifying strength could not set off any waves on the stone steels. Even his arm was numb from the shock. The huge palm above, carrying the sky-piercing divine steels, quickly suppressed him. Seeing this scene, the green-clothed man's scalp went numb. He turned around and fled. He knew that his opponent's strength was too strong, beyond his expectations. This time he was defeated, but he would definitely come back for revenge. But soon his face turned green, because he found that the Five-Finger Mountain was surrounded by countless sharp sword waves, sealing off all directions. He could not escape at all. He had seen the power of those sword waves. He did not dare to resist, and he could not resist the Five-Finger Mountain and the powerful sky-piercing divine steels. For a moment, there was desperation in all directions. The green-clothed man had nowhere to run. No! Brother Idao, save me! At this moment, the green-clothed man was no longer as arrogant as before. Instead, he was very frightened and quickly asked Chen Yidao for help. Humph! Seeing this, Chen Yidao's face darkened. He did not expect that the green-clothed man would fail, which made him very unhappy. However, after all, the green-clothed man attacked for him, so he had to save him at this moment. Don't worry. With me here, he can't kill you. Chen Yidao was quite confident. He took a step forward, and dazzling saber radiance surged out from his body. It quickly intertwined and formed a shadow of a heavenly saber. Then, under his control, it slashed forward fiercely. Boom! This slash was powerful and heavy. The air was ruthlessly cut open, and the airwaves rolled to both sides. The terrifying saber shadow, like a heavenly saber, instantly arrived above the Five-Finger Mountain and the sky-piercing divine steels. Then, it slashed down mercilessly. Boy, get out of here! If you dare to touch him, I won't spare you. Chen Yidao's cold and murderous voice was accompanied by his voice. Who do you think you are? How dare you save him in front of me? Lin Xian was very powerful. At this moment, the great dragon sword soul was operating in his body, emitting an extremely powerful aura. Then he clapped his palms quickly. Boom! The sky-piercing divine steels fell and shrouded the green-clothed young man. Then it was pressurized on the ground. Blood flowed and dyed the ground red. In the sky, the terrifying saber shadow blasted on the Five-Finger Mountain. The collision of the two caused a big shock. What? Everyone was shocked, and their scalps were numb. They did not expect that Lin Xian would succeed in the end. Even Chen Yidao failed to save the green-clothed young man. It was really unbelievable. Chen Yidao's face was gloomy. He did not expect that Lin Xian would succeed. The green-clothed young man was killed in front of him, which was absolutely a slap to his face in public. In addition, he did not have time to save Fan Hengfei. He was slapped hard twice by Lin Xian, which was unbearable for him. Boy, I'm going to kill you. Chen Yidao was finally angry. Clang! The next moment, he pulled out the long blue saber at his waist and slashed forward. The shocking saber radiance was like a heavenly mark, surging in the void. The terrifying aura was so sharp that it could cut everything in time. Everyone looked at this scene and trembled, because they could not resist the saber radiance at all. Only a small number of experts were still able to resist, but their faces were also pale. Chapter 1869. Boom! Looking at the shocking saber, Xian snorted coldly. The next moment, he stretched out his right hand and slapped. Lin Xian's palm was crystal clear. Countless sword qi rushed out from it and turned into true dragons. They intertwined with each other and rushed forward. Boom! The huge palm collided with the blue saber light quickly. Crack! Crack! The saber light in the sky shattered. The palm slapped Chen Yidao's face and sent him flying. Puff! Chen Yidao spat out blood. His face was swollen. What? Everyone's expression changed. Chen Yidao was sent flying. How was that possible? Chen Yidao was a prospective saint. He was extremely powerful. There were few opponents at the same level as him. But now Chen Yidao was sent flying like a fly. This scene was simply like a dream. Is this all you've got? You're too weak. How dare you come out and make a scene with such strength? You're really courting death. Lin Xian sneered. You're courting death. Kill! Chen Yidao roared. He was going crazy. As a heavenly talent, he was sent flying by a single slap. His lungs were about to explode. Chen Yidao's face was gloomy. Without saying a word, he waved the precious weapon in his hand mercilessly. The long saber slashed down. A terrifying aura surged. The blue saber light was like a river. It surged in the void and pressed forward. This saber was indeed extremely terrifying. It could almost cut through everything. Countless saber lights intertwined in the air and shattered Lin Xian's sword light. Then they shrouded Lin Xian. Humph! Lin Xian snorted and slapped again. Smack! Countless saber lights and sword shadows were shattered by this palm. As if thousands of horses were galloping, the terrifying sound waves shook the void. The whole mountain range was shaking. Dazzling light burst out in the sky. Chen Yidao's face was slapped again. His teeth were broken. Ah, I'm going to kill you. Chen Yidao had gone completely crazy. Chen Yidao slapped him twice. This humiliation could only be washed away with his opponent's blood. A genius of the heavenly saber sect? A prospective saint? How dare you scold me? How ridiculous! Lin Xian sneered with disdain. Deity blade technique. Chen Yidao roared and performed the unique skill of the heavenly broadsword sect. The sound of thunder boomed, resounding through the heavens and the earth. The terrifying blue blade radiance revealed its sharpness. A gigantic saber light shot out, displaying an extremely terrifying power that could kill anything. It was as if there was nothing in the world that could stop it. This time, Chen Yidao was really angry. He swore that he would definitely kill him. The deity blade was the ultimate technique of the heavenly blade sect. It was extremely terrifying. The blue long saber in Chen Yidao's hand was also a very powerful earth-rank precious weapon. Its power was even close to that of an earth-rank precious weapon. Therefore, the battle prowess that he displayed now was absolutely at the level of a prospective holy son. However, he was still unable to do anything to Lin Xian. Lin Xian casually dodged one blue blade after another. Then he waved his hand and quickly counterattacked. Facing Chen Yidao, he didn't need to use his full strength, nor did he need to take out the 9 Serenity's demonic sword. However, Chen Yidao was furious. The other party's nonchalant and casual manner infuriated him. Anyone who had fought with him would go all out as if they were facing a formidable enemy. However, the other party was so calm and casual that he couldn't believe it. He even suspected that the other party didn't use his full strength. Go to hell, brat! Chen Yidao roared. The saber light flashed like autumn water, bringing about an endless storm. Suddenly, the shocking saber light carried a fully charged blue hurricane. Chen Yidao charged forward. You don't know what's good for you. Lin Xian snorted coldly and slapped him again. Buzz! He stretched out his palm. It was simple and unadorned, as if it was a casual slap. However, when everyone saw this scene, their scalps went numb. That was because such a palm had already sent Chen Yidao flying twice. Would he be able to hit him again this time? No one knew. They were all watching carefully. Damn it! Seeing the other party slapping him again, Chen Yidao trembled. He was now traumatized, because the other party's palm was too ordinary. It didn't seem to be powerful, but he couldn't dodge it. That made him extremely shocked. However, this time he must dodge it. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to live after being slapped 3 times in a row. Heavenly River Storm. Chen Yidao roared and raised his saber again, forming a gust of wind in the sky. Blue tornadoes slashed forward together with the saber light. Buzz! The palm easily passed through the saber light and arrived in front of Chen Yidao. No. Chen Yidao's pupils constricted, and he tried his best to dodge. He didn't want to be slapped again. Smack! However, the next moment he was still sent flying. This time all his teeth were broken, his flesh and blood splattered, and his entire face was smashed. His body fell to the ground like a kite with a broken string. The surrounding challenger-level beast tamers were all stunned. What's going on? What kind of palm is that? Why can't Chen Yidao dodge it? Moreover, he couldn't dodge it 3 times? God, who is this young man? How did he do it? At this moment, everyone looked at Lin Xian in shock. Chen Yidao was the successor of the Heavenly Saber sect. Moreover, the saber in his hand was very powerful. Perhaps only the real saint could defeat him. However, he was slapped 3 times in the face and was seriously injured. It was unbelievable. Impossible. Damn it, I don't believe it. Chen Yidao struggled to get up and roared crazily. He was crazy. He was really crazy. Today he had lost a lot of face. Originally, he wanted to show off and save Fan Hengfei and the young man in green. He even wanted to kill Lin Xian. However, he didn't expect that not only did he fail to save them, but he was also slapped 3 times. What a shame! What an endless shame! Chen Yidao wished he could find a hole to hide in. What's wrong? Are you still so arrogant? Lin Xian asked lightly. Feeling Lin Xian's cold gaze, Chen Yidao trembled. Chen Yidao was definitely a devil. He couldn't afford to provoke him. Therefore, the next moment, he quickly shook his head and said, I was wrong. I failed to recognize you and offended you. I'll leave now. After saying that, he quickly ran away. The crowd was in an uproar. They couldn't believe it. When Chen Yidao came, he was so domineering, like the god of war descending from the sky. He didn't take the crowd seriously at all. However, now he was running away quickly like a stray dog. This huge contrast was hard to believe. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly and ignored him, because he had more important things to do now. He secretly transmitted a voice to the Crimson Dragon, Rouxalong, come out. It's about time to start. More and more people were around, and it seemed that those who were far away couldn't come for a while. Therefore, Lin Xian was ready to start the exhibition. Of course, he wouldn't do it himself. Previously, he planned to let the Phantom of the Sword God do it, but the Crimson Dragon volunteered. At first, Lin Xian was very worried because when the Crimson Dragon came out, people would probably think of him. However, when he saw that the Crimson Dragon could transform into a human form, Lin Xian's worries completely disappeared, because no one had seen the Crimson Dragon's transformation. Chapter 1870. Sure enough, in the next moment, a red light flashed from the black earth on Lin Xian's body and shot into the sky. It was so fast that no one could see it clearly. Everyone was discussing the previous battle and guessing Lin Xian's identity at the same time. However, at this moment, a clap of thunder sounded in the sky. This sound attracted everyone's attention. In an instant, all the warriors on the mountain peak looked up at the sky. In the next moment, they saw a red auspicious cloud descending from the sky, as if it was a divine cloud from the 9 heavens. And on the red auspicious cloud stood a figure. Everyone widened their eyes and looked carefully. They saw a young man standing on the cloud. He had red lips, white teeth, delicate features, and looked to be about 15 or 16 years old. Which family is this young man from? Why is he here? Everyone was puzzled. Indeed, the other party was too young. He was clearly a young man, and the youngest among them was in his 20s. Lin Xian looked at the young man's appearance, and the corner of his mouth twitched slightly. He did not expect the Rouxalong to be so naughty as to transform into a young man. That's right, the young man above was the Crimson Dragon. He used the divine ability of the Dragon Clan to transform into a human form. Although he looked young, he was extremely arrogant when he spoke. Haha, Ben Huang is not a young man. Ben Huang is from Linglong Mountain. I brought the Saintess's undergarment for you to see. From Linglong Mountain? Everyone was confused because they had never heard of this name. Of course, they did not know that this was the Crimson Dragon's nonsense. His real purpose was to show the Saintess's undergarment. Sure enough, when everyone heard that the Crimson Dragon was going to take out the Saintess's undergarment, they all widened their eyes and looked very anxious. Damn, there really is a Saintess's undergarment. It seems that this trip was not in vain. Big brother, quickly take it out and let us see. Let this young master take a look at it. Is it for real? I have practiced the fiery eyes of truth. Don't lie to me. Discussions could be heard one after another, and they were extremely excited. The Crimson Dragon did not hesitate. He waved his small hand, and a pink undergarment appeared in his palm. Whoosh! Everyone cried out in surprise. Then an uproar broke out. F***, it's pink. The Saintess of all beginnings is really a young girl. It smells so good. Could this be the body fragrance from a Didu? How intoxicating! The light of primal chaos. The light above is indeed the light of primal chaos. And the primal chaos chi, it looks very pure. Is this really the undergarment of the Saint of all beginnings? Everyone inspected it and found that it really was the Saintess undergarment. Then light bloomed in his eyes, forming a divine rainbow that was dozens of meters long, sweeping forward. There were even some people who had already prepared a formation beforehand. At this moment, they took it out to record this most exciting moment. Some people even took out precious memory crystals and threw them into the sky. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Make Ben Huang look more handsome. The Crimson Dragon grimaced. He knew that these formations had the ability to record and restore the original situation. Therefore, at this moment, he assumed a stance. Lin Xian mixed in the crowd and also nodded with a smile. In this way, most people would believe that he had the Saintess undergarment in his hands. At that time, the Saintess of all beginnings would definitely attack him for the sake of glory. As long as she dared to come to the northern region, he would begin his hunting plan. In the Black Earth, although Lu Mingyue didn't come out, she also released her soul power to perceive everything outside. However, her face was getting darker and darker, and finally she was driven mad. She couldn't help it because this undergarment originally belonged to her, but now it was used to pretend to be the Saintess of all beginnings undergarment. But when she thought of this, she was very ashamed. In the end, she restrained herself because she couldn't ruin the plan. You're courting death. However, at this moment, a roar suddenly came from the distance. Suddenly, the sky cracked open. Countless light of primal chaos condensed and turned into thunderbolts, quickly striking down below. Someone was attacking. The surrounding warriors' faces changed. They quickly moved. Some fled and some defended. In short, they all retreated to a safe distance. This was because they discovered that the thunderbolts were aimed at the Crimson Dragon and his pink undergarment. Without a doubt, the All Beginnings Holy Lands experts had arrived. Sure enough, in the next moment, several figures appeared in the sky and surrounded the Crimson Dragon. Several figures also rushed out from the surrounding crowd. Altogether, there was a total of over a dozen people. They emitted powerful auras and coldly stared at the Crimson Dragon. Damned brat! Hand over the undergarment and obediently kneel down. We'll capture you. You dared to blaspheme our Saintess of all beginnings. Your crime is punishable by death. The voices of the All Beginnings Holy Lands experts were ice cold. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. The surrounding people were shocked. They hadn't expected the All Beginnings Holy Land to send so many experts this time. It seemed that they were determined to snatch back the undergarment. Among them, a youth also recounted the matter of Fan Hengfei being killed. After hearing this news, the expressions of the other All Beginnings Holy Lands experts who had rushed over became gloomy. They hadn't expected that not only would someone display the undergarment of their saintess, but someone would also dare to kill a disciple of their All Beginnings Holy Land. This was an unforgivable crime. How audacious! Who is it? Who dares to kill a disciple of my All Beginnings Holy Land? Get out here and accept your death! Many people roared. Terrifying sound waves pierced through the void. Even though they had the numbers advantage, they still surrounded the Crimson Dragon. They weren't afraid that the other party would escape. Therefore, they wanted to find the culprit who killed Fan Hengfei and kill them together. Hearing this, everyone felt their scalps go numb. They subconsciously took 3 steps back. As for Lin Xian, he was exceptionally calm. He stood there with his hands behind his back. It's him. It's that brat. Kill him. The All Beginnings Holy Land's disciples, who were originally hidden in the crowd, pointed at Lin Xian. They had seen the scene from before with their own eyes, so they recognized Lin Xian. What? It's you. In the next instant, the dozen or so All Beginnings Holy Lands experts in the sky locked their gazes on Lin Xian. Killing intent surged from their bodies. Brat, you actually dared to kill a disciple of my All Beginnings Holy Land. Are you going to take your own life, or do you want us to do it for you? I advise you to kneel before Fan Hengfei's corpse and chop off all 4 of his limbs. Then, you can use your death to atone for your crimes. Otherwise, I can guarantee that your end will be very miserable. Senior brother, why are you wasting words with him? I'll go and kill him. A purple-haired youth said coldly. Light shone from his eyes. Then his figure flickered, and he turned into a streak of lightning that shot toward Lin Xian. Everyone cried out in alarm and quickly retreated. This was especially true for the cultivators near Lin Xian. They were running away with all their might. This person's aura was simply too powerful. His killing intent was already unbearable for them. Chapter 1871. However, Lin Xian remained unmoved in the face of the powerful experts of the Holy Land. He stood there with his hands clasped behind his back, a calm expression on his face. It was as if the other party wasn't attacking him. Brat, die for me. In the next instant, the purple-haired youth arrived in front of Lin Xian. He quickly punched out, ruthlessly aiming for Lin Xian's head. It was accompanied by a terrifying light and a violent power of thunder and lightning. Humph! Faced with this punch, Lin Xian coldly snorted. He did not dodge, but instead quickly countered. His palm was as fast as lightning as he slapped forward. Pa! Although Lin Xian was the last to make his move, he managed to land a hit on his opponent first. The purple-haired youth's teeth flew everywhere, and blood gushed out. His body spun 36 times in the air before he was sent flying. Boom! Soon after, the youth smashed into a distant mountain peak and was buried by countless boulders. Seeing this scene, everyone grimaced in disdain. Another slap had sent him flying. Was this brat a professional face-slapping expert? Seeing this scene, everyone couldn't help but touch their faces. You're courting death. In the sky, the All Beginnings Holy Lands experts also had gloomy expressions. They hadn't expected their opponent to be so powerful that it could send their companion flying with a single slap. Kill! At this moment, the 2 disciples roared and attacked again. Primal chaos light shone beneath their feet. With a single step, they instantly covered 1,000 meters. In almost an instant, they arrived beside Lin Xian. One in front and one behind, the 2 of them attacked at the same time. Boom! The person in front had an arrogant aura. Light blossomed from his body, making him seem like a demon king. He punched out. Resplendent light shone, and space distorted. It was as if a mountain was smashing toward Lin Xian. As for the person behind him, He was incomparably gloomy and cold. He was like a viper. He held a berserk blade in his hand and ruthlessly chopped down at Lin Xian. This blade was like a stormy sea, capable of destroying everything. However, in the face of such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian was still calm and collected. He didn't care about what was happening behind him. Instead, he raised his head and stared at the disciple in front of him. In the next instant, he raised his palm and slapped forward. "What? You're still attacking?" "It won't be another slap to the face, right?" When everyone saw this scene, they were extremely shocked. Did he not know that there was someone behind him? This time, no one believed that Lin Xian could win, because in this way, even if he could send the person in front flying, Kuang Dao behind him would not be able to stop him. But soon, they were dumbfounded and no one said anything, because they saw a fierce figure rush out of Lin Xian's body. That figure was surrounded by dazzling sword light, as if he was a demonic god. His face couldn't be seen clearly. However, just like Lin Xian, he also raised his hand and slapped backward. Pa! Pa! Two crisp sounds rang out, like pearls falling on a jade plate. Then the two of them flew out. That works too. Everyone was stunned. They didn't dare to believe it. Those were two 6-star King Realm experts. It was incomparably valiant, but it was actually swatted away like a fly. Damn it, how did this happen? In the sky, the All Beginnings Holy Lands experts also had gloomy expressions. They discovered that they had still underestimated the other party. The previous attack had caught them off guard. Moreover, it had been done one after the other. The timing had been extremely good. Even experts like them couldn't find any fault with it. Even if they couldn't instantly kill the other party, they could still heavily injure them. But now, not only were their two companions unable to injure the other party in the slightest, but they were also easily swatted away. They found this hard to believe. Who was the other party? Why was he so powerful? Everyone looked at Lin Xian with unkind expressions. At this time, the crimson dragon in the sky laughed wildly. He had already put away the pink doo-doo in his hand, and he had an expression as if he was watching a show. "I say your All Beginnings Holy Lands people are really weak. Why are you all like flies? Could it be that you want to be swatted? Are there any experts? Come out and suppress the situation. Otherwise, you'll all be swatted away." Although the Crimson Dragon had the appearance of a youth, he was extremely arrogant. There was a trace of insolence on his young and tender face. The All Beginnings Holy Lands people were truly angered. They hadn't expected that the youth before them would be so insolent and dare to provoke them. "Reckless fool! Chop off his legs first, and let him have a taste of what it's like to offend us." In the next instant, a youth walked out from the group of All Beginnings Holy Lands martial artists. He pulled out a long sword. Sword light flickered as he slashed it forward. "Io, you actually dare to attack Ben Huang? It seems that you are the ones who are reckless. I'll hit you." The Crimson Dragon didn't use his hands. Instead, he kicked out. Boom! This kick was powerful and heavy, and it directly hit that resplendent long sword. Immediately, a sky-shaking sound echoed. Sword light exploded in the sky, and a terrifying sound reverberated through the entire mountain range for thousands of miles. In the end, cracks appeared on the long sword shining with divine light, and it shattered into pieces. As for the disciple that attacked, he was sent flying like a rubber ball. He was sent flying over a dozen mountains. What a valiant youth! Everyone was in an uproar. They hadn't expected that a 15-year-old youth would be so powerful. Just what kind of people were they? After sending that disciple flying, the Crimson Dragon clapped his hands and sneered. Ben Huang's temper wasn't good. Ben Huang didn't hit faces, but Ben Huang kicked faces. Come. Who wants to give it a try? He raised his chin and looked down at the All Beginnings Holy Lands martial artists. Astonishment. Absolute astonishment. Everyone was stupefied. They hadn't expected such a scene. One had to know that the All Beginnings Holy Land had sent out over a dozen experts this time. They were all aggressively trying to kill the other party. But now, a mere youth and a 15-year-old youth had beaten the All Beginnings Holy Land's martial artists into a complete mess. They didn't even have the strength to fight back. This was truly surprising. Senior brother. For a time, the All Beginnings Holy Land's people looked at the figure in the front. It was a middle-aged man wearing purple robes. His aura was powerful. He was an extremely terrifying 6-star king. His strength was incomparably terrifying. Originally, he hadn't wanted to attack. However, he hadn't expected that the other party would be so arrogant as to even attack the disciples of his All Beginnings Holy Land. Therefore, he had no choice but to attack. Boom! The purple-robed, middle-aged man coldly snorted. He raised his palm and smashed it down. Pum! The void trembled. Then a huge whirlpool formed. A huge red palm rapidly stretched out from the whirlpool and enveloped the entire mountain peak below. This palm was too terrifying. It covered the sky and covered the earth. It seemed capable of destroying the world. The martial artists watching the battle below felt their scalps go numb. They quickly left the mountain peak and flew in all directions. As for Lin Xian, he raised his head and calmly watched. In the sky, a huge palm blotted out the sky. It was like a red cloud that wanted to envelop Lin Xian. Humph! Lin Xian waited until the palm was only several hundred meters away before he attacked. Chapter 1872. He coldly snorted and punched at the sky. Roar! A fire chilin flew out of his arm and soared into the sky along with his terrifying fist. Boom! In the next instant, the two attacks collided. It was as if 100,000 lightning bolts had exploded at the same time. The surrounding cultivators all paled and quickly sealed off their hearing. Otherwise, the sound waves would have been enough to kill them. What? He blocked it? The All Beginnings Holy Land's people widened their eyes in disbelief. Originally, they had thought that as long as their senior brother attacked, he would be able to kill the other party with a single slap. They had never imagined that the other party would actually block it. This was simply too inconceivable. One had to know that their senior brother C was extremely powerful and could fight against 5 or 6 of them. He was a peak king. Even so, he was unable to injure the other party. The purple-clothed, middle-aged man furrowed his brows. He hadn't expected this to happen either. But in the next instant, the primal chaos energy within his body surged out. Demon sealing palm. This time he sent out 9 palms in a row. The red palms were like a large cloud of fire. They brought with them a fiery light that quickly pressed down. Boom! 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 Red light filled the sky and dyed the entire sky red. This power was extremely terrifying. The red light filled the sky, and the large palms seemed capable of suppressing everything in the world. The 9 large palms blotted out the sky and shot toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted and waved his fist at the sky. This time, he didn't use his fire Qilin arm. Instead, he used his world-destroying Black Dragon Fist. A terrifying aura of destruction spread out. The 9 fist shadows were like black demonic mountains as they rushed toward the sky. An extremely terrifying power surged out. It contained an unparalleled offensive power. When he used it, it was like a boundless sea. It was terrifying beyond compare. The entire sky shook. The surrounding cultivators retreated once more, their expressions changing. Boom! 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 The 9 fist shadows and the 9 red palms rapidly collided. Then they exploded and formed black holes. The 2 berserk energies collided. However, the world-destroying Black Dragon Fist was too berserk. It was as if 9 dragons were dancing in the sky. After tearing apart the 9 red palms, the world-destroying Black Dragon Fist rushed toward the purple-clothed middle-aged man. Puff! The purple-clothed middle-aged man couldn't withstand this berserk, destructive energy. In an instant, his entire chest caved in, and his palm was completely deformed. Bright, red blood flowed down his palm and dyed the sky red. Senior brother. The expressions of the all beginnings, holy lands people changed as they nervously looked ahead. They didn't expect that their senior brother would be injured in the battle. Could it be that the other party was already this strong? However, Lin Xian said indifferently, "You're just SSO. Is your holy son here yet? Let him come out and fight with me." What? Hearing this, the surrounding people swallowed their saliva. How arrogant! How dare he challenge the saint of all beginnings? However, no one dared to say anything. After all, the strength displayed by the other party was indeed comparable to that of a saint. Humph! There's no need for my holy son to come. I'm more than enough to kill you. The purple-robed, middle-aged man shouted as he swallowed a pill. Soon after, the chaotic energy wrapped around his deformed palm, rapidly healing the wound and repairing his bones. The next moment, his expression turned cold, and the killing intent on his face became even more intense. However, Lin Xian shook his head slightly. "You can't. I think it's better if you guys come at me together to save time. You're courting death." "Brat, you are too arrogant." The purple-robed middle-aged man was incomparably furious. How dare this person look down on him? In the next moment, he roared and rushed over. As for the All Beginnings Holy Land's martial artists behind him, they quickly sent a voice transmission. "What should we do? Should we let senior brother fight alone? Let's wait first. Send 2 people to keep an eye on that brat in the sky. The rest of you, prepare to attack at any time. In any case, we came here to kill that brat. So what if we attack together? But won't that have a bad influence? After all, we are all disciples of a holy land. If news of us attacking a single person together were to spread, I'm afraid we would become a laughingstock. What do you know? As long as we kill him, we will have the final say in this matter. No one has ever stood up for a dead person, and no one has ever dared to offend our All Beginnings holy land." After some discussion, they decided to act according to the situation. In front of them, the purple-robed, middle-aged man's black hair fluttered in the wind. He was like a crazed monster beast, crazily attacking. Primal chaos, immortal palm. Terrifying primal chaos palms slammed into the void, buzzing like thunder. The surrounding martial artists felt their scalps go numb when they saw this. These palms could easily kill a 6-star king. They were incomparably terrifying. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up into a sneer. He used his fingers like a sword and shot out sword chi. Resplendent sword chi surged out, and terrifying radiance illuminated the surroundings. Divine rainbows surged in the sky. These sword chi were too terrifying. The berserk power directly sent the nearby martial artists flying. Pooh! 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 The sword chi slashed down, cutting apart the primal chaos palms one after another. The terrifying sword chi shook the void, and a tsunami-like sound echoed out. For a time, nothing could stop it. Not good. The purple-robed, middle-aged man's pupils shrank, and he rapidly retreated. This was because he realized that the sword chi was too sharp, and it made his hair stand on end. He turned into a streak of light and rapidly fled. However, the sword chi that filled the sky followed him like a shadow. Its speed was even faster than the purple-robed, middle-aged man's. Pooh! Finally, a sword chi caught up with the purple-robed, middle-aged man and mercilessly slashed down. The purple-robed, middle-aged man was enraged. He opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of primal chaos chi, which turned into a primal chaos shield to block the sword chi. However, he was still one step too slow. The sword chi slashed down and directly cut off his entire right arm. Ah, The purple-robed, middle-aged man screamed crazily. His wound quickly retreated. Pain, it was too painful. He did not expect that his opponent would be able to cut off his arm so easily. Without an arm, his combat strength had decreased greatly. Moreover, it was still a problem whether he could regrow it in the future. Thinking of this, he gritted his teeth, and his expression became abnormally cold. "Damn, brat, I'm going to kill you." Before he could finish speaking, the purple-robed, middle-aged man's pupils suddenly shrank. This was because he discovered that the sword chi in front of him had turned into a resplendent ray of light and was rapidly piercing toward him. The purple-robed, middle-aged man's expression changed drastically. He could no longer be bothered to say anything and turned to run. However, he was still swept by a sword chi. He immediately spat out a large mouthful of blood and crashed into a mountain peak. "I've said that you're too weak. You'd better fight me together." Lin Xian stretched out a palm. The sword chi on his fingertips danced like dancing elves. "Should we fight him?" The remaining martial artists of the Holy Land of All Beginnings whispered among themselves. "Fight my ass. This brat is too strong. Didn't you see that even our senior brother couldn't defeat him?" Chapter 1873. Their complexions turned even darker. Originally, they had wanted to cooperate with the middle-aged man and secretly attack him, but they hadn't expected that the middle-aged man would be heavily injured and defeated before they could even attack. This had completely disrupted their plans. For a time, they couldn't attack or escape. The situation had become extremely awkward. "How is it? Do you still want to attack?" "If you don't want to attack, then hurry up and scram. Don't delay our exhibition," the Crimson Dragon coldly shouted. In the sky, the All Beginnings Holy Lands martial artists were so angry that their faces turned red. But they didn't dare to fight back. But at this time, another roar came from the distance. "Who dares to bully my All Beginnings Holy Land?" This voice was full of energy. It was like a golden bell that resounded in all directions. "Elder." Hearing this voice, the All Beginnings Holy Lands martial artists were overjoyed. "This is great. The Elder has come. The experts of our All Beginnings Holy Land have arrived." This group of people is so excited that they are crying. Then their expressions turned malevolent as they stared at the Crimson Dragon and Lin Xian. "Brat, you're dead. The Elder of my All Beginnings Holy Land has arrived. You're dead for sure." "That's right. At that time, I'll let you taste a fate worse than death." The disciples of the All Beginnings Holy Land became arrogant once more. The surrounding crowd was in an uproar. They hadn't expected that the All Beginnings Holy Land would send another expert. Moreover, from the looks of it, there were several dozen people this time. Such a group was simply too powerful. No matter how strong Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon were, they wouldn't be able to contend against them. As for Lin Xian, he raised his head slightly and narrowed his eyes as he looked at the sky. "They've finally arrived?" The corners of his mouth curled up in a sneer. He had been waiting for this moment for a long time. This was because he had laid down a heaven-shaking array in the surrounding mountain range, waiting for the arrival of the other party. 50 to 60 figures descended from the sky, all of them emitting a terrifying aura. The person in the lead was an old man. He had an incomparably furious expression. His aura soared into the clouds. He was like an immemorial monster beast, causing others to tremble. This was an elder of the All Beginnings Holy Land. His strength was incomparably terrifying. Behind him were martial artists of different ages, but they all exuded killing intent. They were powerhouses from the All Beginnings Holy Land. However, although these people were strong, none of them had reached the almighty level. This made Lin Xian feel much more at ease. Without the appearance of an almighty being, it would be useless no matter how many kings came. They would not be able to pose a threat to him. Seeing that those people had arrived, the remaining All Beginnings Holy Lands martial artists hurriedly went to greet them. Then, one by one, they recounted what had happened. As for the All-Beginnings Holy Land's elder, his complexion turned increasingly black. In the end, he snorted coldly and threw out a palm in an attempt to kill Lin Xian. The surrounding disciples sealed off the area to prevent the other party from escaping. In the sky, a terrifying, chaotic palm appeared, blotting out the sky and grabbing at Lin Xian. Chaotic chi surged, incomparably terrifying. Compared to the purple-robed, middle-aged man, its might was far more terrifying. This was an expert of the older generation. Naturally, he was not someone the younger generation could compare to. Boom! Lin Xian, on the other hand, used the black dragon fist of annihilation. His violent fist was as black as ink, like a giant dragon rushing towards the sky. Boom! 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 The two attacks collided, and an aura that caused one's heart to tremble erupted. Terrifying radiance surged out in all directions. That berserk destructive power caused everyone to continuously retreat. The surrounding mountain peaks collapsed with a loud rumble. After the attack, Lin Xian stood with his hands clasped behind his back. In the sky, the All-Beginnings Holy Land's elder's complexion changed greatly. Although he did not retreat, his entire arm had gone numb, and he could not exert any strength. The other party's fist was too astonishing. That berserk aura had nearly crippled his entire arm. In the next instant, he suppressed the fear in his heart and coldly asked, "Kid, what are you doing?" "Brat, who are you? Which sect are you from? What sect are you from? Why are you opposing my All-Beginnings Holy Land?" Although he snorted coldly, he no longer had the arrogance from before. He seemed to be inquiring about Lin Xian's identity. After Lin Xian heard this, he sneered, "I don't belong to any sect. I'm just a loose cultivator. I have never opposed the All-Beginnings Holy Land. It's just that you guys are overbearing and arrogant enough to cause trouble for me. As for me, I am merely retaliating." He doesn't belong to any sect. Everyone was shocked. Could this person be a loose cultivator? However, the All-Beginnings Holy Land's elder furrowed his brows. Even if he was beaten to death, he would not believe that the other party was a loose cultivator. How could a loose cultivator at such a young age possess such powerful strength? He was shocked. One had to know that he was an elder of the All-Beginnings Holy Land. He was an expert whose strength was not inferior to that of a holy son. Since the other party could contend against him, he had to be at least a holy son. How could such a person be a loose cultivator? Therefore, in the next instant, the All-Beginnings elder snorted coldly. "Brat, since you don't want to speak, don't blame me for being impolite." He had come here this time to settle this exhibition. Anyone who dared to oppose the All-Beginnings Holy Land would be captured. The All-Beginnings Holy Land is handling matters. Those who have nothing to do with it scram. With a furious shout, a terrifying aura erupted from the All-Beginnings elder's body. It's over. These people are about to attack. Seeing this scene, the surrounding cultivators felt their scalps go numb. They quickly soared into the sky and left the mountain range. There was nothing they could do about it. There was definitely going to be a great battle. They didn't want to be drawn into this storm. In an instant, all the cultivators on the mountain peak left. Only the Crimson Dragon and Lin Xian remained, as well as the numerous All-Beginnings Holy Land's experts in the sky. "Capture the two of them for me," the All-Beginnings elder roared as he looked down. With a wave of his hand, 50 to 60 disciples rushed towards Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon. "You want to fight? That's fine too. Ben Huang hasn't exercised his muscles for a long time. Today, I will accompany you to play." The Crimson Dragon coldly snorted. Although he had the appearance of a youth, his tone was that of an old man. He stretched out his 4 limbs and struck out with a terrifying strength that bombarded the incoming cultivators. In an instant, a great battle erupted in the sky. On the ground below, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He wasn't polite to those people who had just arrived. He directly waved his black palm and swept it out. Pum! 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 The terrifying palm was like a mountain. It carried with it a tyrannical aura of destruction. It directly sent 3 cultivators flying. Those 3 cultivators miserably screamed. All the bones in their bodies shattered as they smashed into the surrounding mountain peaks. How powerful! Seeing this scene, those cultivators who had just arrived were stunned for a moment. A trace of panic appeared in their eyes. But soon after, they rushed over once more. So what if the other party was powerful? This time, there were over 20 of them. They were more than enough to capture the other party. Humph! Seeing over 20 powerful kings flying over, Lin Xian coldly snorted. Soon after, his dragon sword domain surged out, enveloping the surroundings. Competing in king domains? You are courting death. In the sky, the All Beginnings Holy Lands cultivators sneered. Soon after, they also released their king domains. Chapter 1874. More than 20 king domains appeared in the sky. They flickered with light and emitted powerful energy as they rushed down. Lin Xian's figure flickered as he dodged the majority of the king domain's attacks. Then, with the dragon's sword domain, he soared into the sky like a peerless divine sword. Puff! 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 Wherever he passed, the 6 king domains were mercilessly sliced apart. The 6 king domains were sent flying while vomiting blood. Damn it! How could he be so strong? The remaining cultivators roared crazily. This scene was simply too shocking. The other party had injured 9 people in a single move. His combat strength was too heaven-defying. Although the spectating cultivators dodged, they didn't leave. They were hiding on a mountain peak far away. When they saw this scene, their scalps went numb. This was definitely the combat strength of a holy sun. Otherwise, it was impossible for him to possess such terrifying might. On the other side, the All Beginnings Holy Lands cultivators in the sky were also screaming miserably. The Crimson Dragon was brandishing his fists. Although he looked immature, his strength wasn't weak at all. He was originally from the dragon race. Although he had transformed into a human, he was like a human-shaped Tyrannosaurus that rampaged around. There wasn't a single person who wasn't seriously injured after being struck by him. Therefore, it didn't take long before nearly 20 of the 60 people that the All Beginnings Elder had brought were seriously injured. The other people were also affected by it. More importantly, their hearts had suffered a heavy blow. The All Beginnings Elder coldly snorted. 6 people in a group. Use the primal chaos sword technique and kill them. Although the other party was strong, they were still disciples of a holy land. They had many lost techniques in their hands. Now that they were combined with a formation, their might was incomparably terrifying. In the sky, the All Beginnings Holy Lands disciples began to combine and form a primal chaos sword formation. They moved toward Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon. In an instant, the 2 of them were trapped. Immediately, terrifying primal chaos sword light soared into the sky and killed the 2 of them. The All Beginnings Elder's eyes were cold. His figure flickered as he joined the battle to kill Lin Xian. Humph! Lin Xian coldly snorted. Sword light erupted from his entire body and swept out all around him. The dragon's sword domain floated up and down, contending against the chaotic sword chi that filled the sky. Not only that, but he also pulled out the 9 Netherworld demonic sword and slashed out a series of demonic sword auras. The All Beginnings Elder cooperated with the powerful primal chaos array formation and attacked Lin Xian. Lin Xian, on the other hand, unleashed a barrage of sword chi to contend with it. Useless brat, stop struggling. No matter how powerful you are, you can't defeat these sword formations. Although these sword formations are formed by 6 Star Kings, their combined power is comparable to that of a quasi-saint. With 3 sword formations and me, even a saint wouldn't be able to resist. Don't talk about you. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly. Who said I was going to fight against the sword formation? Do you think you're the only ones with formations? With that, he stomped his foot, and the ground beneath his feet trembled. Runes flickered, and mysterious patterns spread out in all directions. Buzz, buzz, buzz! In the next moment, countless formations lit up and covered the entire mountain range. There's actually a formation. Seeing this scene, the All Beginnings Holy Land's martial artists were alarmed, and their expressions changed drastically. They hadn't expected the other party to have arranged so many formations here. Just the aura of these formations was enough to make them tremble. If they were activated together, they would erupt with a terrifying power that they wouldn't be able to resist. Damned brat, you dared to trick us. The All Beginnings elder's face turned green. Originally, he wanted to rely on numbers and the strength of his formations to suppress the other party. But he hadn't expected the other party to also have formations. Moreover, the number of formations far surpassed theirs. So what if I've tricked you? You were the ones who were shameless first. You used so many people and formations to deal with the 2 of us. Right now, we're only using your method to fight back. Ha 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 ha, little brats. You dare to bully Ben Huang. What's wrong? Are you afraid now? The Crimson Dragon faced the sky and laughed wildly. Indeed, even the Crimson Dragon wouldn't be able to withstand the attacks of 3 Primal Chaos Sword formations. After all, the Primal Chaos Sword formation was the All Beginnings Holy Land's most powerful formation. When it was used, it was equivalent to the attack of 3 quasi-saints. Perhaps only a few people would be able to block it, but now things were good. They could finally use the formation they had arranged. I'll remember you. Just you wait. My All Beginnings Holy Land won't take this lying down. The All Beginnings elder's face was gloomy as he roared. Then he turned around and soared into the sky with the other disciples. Quickly retreat. The disciples still maintained the Primal Chaos Sword formation and retreated in an orderly manner. Don't you think it's too late to leave? Since you've come, you might as well stay here. In the next moment, Lin Xian activated the formation here. Suddenly, lightning, fireballs, ice gales, and all sorts of terrifying attacks swept out in all directions. Brat, you dare to stop me? The All Beginnings elder was furious. He hadn't thought that the other party would really dare to attack him. What's there to be afraid of? You've already come knocking on my door. If I don't do anything, wouldn't that make me look like a coward? Lin Xian sneered. Without any hesitation, he activated the formation around him with all his strength. At the same time, he raised his demonic sword and rushed over. You're courting death, the All Beginnings elder roared. Then he said, hurry up and use the Primal Chaos Sword formation to rush out. I'll block this brat. Hearing this, the surrounding Holy Land cultivators hurriedly used the Primal Chaos Sword formation to attack the surrounding energy storm. However, this formation was inscribed by the Crimson Dragon. It was incomparably profound, and these people couldn't escape in a short period of time. But it didn't matter. The Primal Chaos Sword formation wasn't ordinary either. It was incomparably powerful. So if they attacked it a few more times, they should be able to break through the formation and escape. On the other side, the All Beginnings elder roared. His long hair fluttered in the wind, and his hunched body emitted an extremely powerful aura. The oppressive aura caused the surrounding space to distort. At this moment, he was like an unreachable mountain floating in the sky. Humph! Lin Xian coldly snorted and waved the 9 nether demonic sword in his hand. Suddenly, an extremely sharp aura spread out from the tip of the heavy sword. Terrifying sword light overflowed and surged with incomparable, killing intent. There were even black flames leaping about. A sword Tao world appeared around Lin Xian. Thousands of sword lights appeared inside. The terrifying sword Dao aura shot up into the sky. The All-Beginnings elder waved his hand and took out a golden hammer. It looked like it was made of gold. His body flickered, and balls of primal chaos energy appeared. The light was so bright that no one dared to look directly at it. Clang! With a swing of the hammer, the entire void shattered. The sky was filled with light as the huge golden hammer smashed toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian waved the 9 nether demonic sword. The pitch-black sword Qi was like the demonic flames of hell. It was extremely terrifying. Chapter 1875. The collision of the two was like a clap of thunder, causing many spectators to vomit blood and fall from the sky. Ka. After the collision, the golden hammer rapidly split apart, turning into spiritual energy that disappeared into the air. As for the black demonic sword, it slashed down. Boom! 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 It was like a river of the underworld was floating in the air. Seeing this scene, the All-Beginning elder's face turned gloomy. He held the golden hammer horizontally in front of his chest and quickly swung it out. Dang! Another heaven-shaking collision occurred. The hammer slammed into the 9 nether demonic sword, causing a heaven-shaking sound to ring out. The terrifying strength caused the 9 nether demonic sword to deviate. Pooh! Suddenly, the All-Beginning Holy Land's cultivators in the distance were swept by the sword energy and fell to the ground. Damn it! Seeing the scene, the All-Beginning elder crazily roared. Although he had dodged the sword energy, the cultivators he had brought with him were injured. This made his heart bleed. Lin Xian didn't care. There was only him and the Crimson Dragon here. The two of them were experts and wouldn't be affected. Brat, you deserve to die. The All-Beginning elder gnashed his teeth and glared at Lin Xian. Old man, don't be so arrogant. Your strength is only SO. Watch me exterminate you today. Lin Xian coldly snorted. Although the other party was an elder, his combat strength was only at the level of a holy sun. It wasn't that such a person couldn't be slaughtered. In the next moment, Lin Xian roared and slashed out with the demonic sword in his right hand. A dark fire Qilin appeared in his left hand and rushed out. He used the Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps and brought the dragon sword domain with him as he charged forward. Terrifying sword light filled the sky and black flames filled every inch of space. The spectating cultivators couldn't open their eyes. As for the All-Beginning elder, he raised his own domain and wrapped it around his body. At the same time, he held the golden hammer in his right hand and summoned a golden shield in his left hand. In the next moment, he collided with Lin Xian. A terrifying storm rose up around the two of them, sweeping across the surroundings, forming tornadoes that were over 100 zhang tall. The surrounding mountains, trees, and rivers were all swept into the air by the tornado. The ground cracked open, and numerous canyons appeared, extending into the distance. In the sky, Lin Xian and Elder Wan Chu had exchanged dozens of blows. Both of them were fighting fiercely. The more the All-Beginning elder fought, the more shocked he became. He was an elder of the older generation, an elder of a holy land. He had the combat strength of a holy sun. However, they were unable to take him down. This made him extremely shocked. Just who was the other party? How could he possess the battle prowess of a saint? Could it be that he was really the holy son of a certain holy land? Had he concealed his identity and come here to oppose the All-Beginnings' holy land? Lin Xian roared. The elders of the All-Beginnings' holy land were only SOO. Now the battle was over. After saying that, the 9-hell demon sword in his hand suddenly bloomed with light. Together with the dragon's sword domain, he released 18 sword Qi and attacked forward. Boom! Boom! The elder of all beginnings roared madly and started to counterattack. The golden hammer in his hand sent 5 sword Qi flying. However, he was unable to block the remaining 13 sword chi. In the next instant, he was enveloped by the sword chi, and his body was pierced through. Elder. Seeing that their elder of All Beginnings Holy Land was killed, the surrounding All Beginnings Holy Land's martial artists started to frantically shout. They hadn't expected that their elder would be killed. This was as if the sky was collapsing. Quickly run. The All Beginnings Holy Land's martial artists frantically attacked. They wanted to destroy the array formation and escape with their lives. This was because they now understood that with their strength, it was impossible for them to contend against the other party. They had to send news to the Holy Land so that the Holy Land could send experts to kill the other party. You want to run? The Crimson Dragon sneered. He waved his hand and pushed the surrounding array formation to its limits. Thunder filled the sky, a boundless sea of fire, and a terrifying storm engulfed all of the Holy Land's martial artists. The surrounding onlookers were extremely shocked when they saw the scene. They hadn't expected that so many Holy Land's experts would be unable to contend against two youths. This was too shocking. They knew that it would be very difficult for the All Beginnings Holy Land's martial artists to escape. Sure enough, when the array formation disappeared, all of the All Beginnings Holy Land's martial artists were killed. Blood dyed the entire mountain range red. As for the Crimson Dragon, he cleaned up the battlefield and collected all of their storage rings. Come, come, come. The All Beginnings Holy Land's martial artists have been dealt with. Let's continue with the exhibition. The Crimson Dragon roared. With a wave of his hand, the pink doo-doo appeared in the sky once more. One day later, the exhibition ended. Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon soared through the sky and left. As for the other martial artists, they were crazily spreading the news. What had happened today was simply too shocking. Perhaps they had never seen something like this in their entire lives. Big news. Shocking news. There really is a Saintess Dudu. Furthermore, it's pink. This is crazy. A mysterious power has taken action and killed many of the All Beginnings Holy Land's experts. The northern region is shaking. The All Beginnings Holy Land has been slapped in the face. The news spread rapidly throughout the entire northern region. As for those martial artists who didn't have time to attend the exhibition, they were extremely shocked when they heard the news. Many people shook their heads and sighed. It was such a pity that they were not present at such a wonderful and exciting scene. What shocked them even more was the fact that over 50 disciples of the All Beginnings Holy Land had been killed. This was truly unbelievable. One had to know that it had been a very long time since so many disciples of the All Beginnings Holy Land had died. This time, the All Beginnings Holy Land would definitely go crazy. Indeed, the All Beginnings Holy Land was incomparably furious right now. The reason for that was because they had already received the news. Two pieces of news. One was that the other party had really taken out a pink doo-doo. Moreover, there was a thick aura of primal chaos on it. Even though they knew that he wasn't from the sacred ground, they still couldn't believe it. But the others wouldn't think that way, so it was useless for them to explain. The second thing shocked them even more, because more than 50 of their disciples had been killed in the northern region. This was definitely an earth-shattering event. Their All Beginnings Holy Land had never experienced such a thing for a very long time. Who is it? Could it be that an almighty expert has taken action? The All Beginnings Holy Land's elder coldly asked. It's not an almighty. According to the news, it's a 15 or 16-year-old boy and a young king. What? Hearing this, the people of the All Beginnings Holy Land were stunned. Do you think that's possible? A youth and a young king are capable of killing over 50 experts? Sensing the anger of the elder, the martial artist who came to deliver the news started to shiver. He braced himself and said, "Those two youths both possess the fighting strength of a holy sun. Moreover, they had set up a large number of terrifying formations on cold, flying mountain ahead of time. That's why they were able to succeed." So that was the case. Hearing this, everyone fell silent. Chapter 1876. Two Holy Sun level youths, in addition to countless formations, could indeed kill more than 50 of their disciples. Damn it! Who is it? Who is scheming against the All-Beginnings Holy Land? Don't let me find them, or I'll tear them to pieces. Could it be that bitch Lu Mingyue? Impossible. She has already been abandoned by the Holy Land. She doesn't have that much power. Moreover, didn't they say that it was a youth and a youth who attacked? It wasn't Lu Mingyue. Who is it that can send two Holy Sun level heaven prides? For a time, the atmosphere of the All Beginnings Holy Land was extremely heavy. As for the Holy Maiden of All Beginnings, after hearing the news, she directly smashed 3 mountains and broke 2 rivers. She was mad with anger. She was really too angry. She didn't care how many disciples the other party had killed. What she cared about was how that undergarment had appeared. The Holy Maiden of All Beginnings was very clear that she hadn't lost her undergarment. The other party had definitely taken a fake one. But where did the chaos energy on the undergarment come from? How could it be hidden from the experts of the world? This meant that the undergarment definitely belonged to a female disciple of the All Beginnings Holy Land. Could it be that bitch Lu Mingyue? The Holy Maiden of All Beginnings gnashed her teeth, a trace of coldness appearing in her eyes. However, she wasn't 100% sure, because Lu Mingyue had already been abandoned by the Holy Land. Who was it that had helped Lu Mingyue and had such powerful strength? The Holy Maiden of All Beginnings couldn't understand, but she decided that this time she would personally descend to the northern region and kill the other party. She wanted to use this battle to announce to the world the strength of the Holy Maiden of All Beginnings. From now on, she wouldn't allow anyone to have any ideas about her. Therefore, the Holy Maiden of All Beginnings began to gather experts, preparing to attack the northern region. In the northern region, the winds and clouds changed. The world was shocked. However, the culprits, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon, had temporarily gone into hiding. It wasn't that they were afraid, but that they were preparing an even bigger killing scheme. The All Beginnings Holy Land had chased after him for so long. Now that he had killed several disciples, it was only a small warning. What he needed to do next was to kill the Holy Maiden of All Beginnings. Killing the Holy Maiden was extremely difficult. He had to plan carefully. There couldn't be any mistakes. After checking the array formation in his hands, he concluded that it was more than enough to deal with the other kings below the Almighties. As for the next 2 or 3 Almighties, Lin Xian had his own plans. He and the Crimson Dragon were both at the Holy Sun level, and Lu Mingyue was at the Quasi-Holy Sun level. That was to say, Lu Mingyue had to fight against the Saintess of All Beginnings, while he and the Crimson Dragon held back the powerful figure. This was because, even though they had an array formation that could transfer Almighties, they couldn't use it easily. The Saintess of All Beginnings also had a protector beside her. This guardian would only appear at the moment of life and death. Therefore, they had to put the Holy Maiden in danger in order to lure the guardian out. Only when the Tao protectors took action could they use the array formation to teleport all the mighty figures and Tao protectors out. It was possible for Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon to restrain the mighty beings. However, with Lu Mingyue's current strength, she might not be able to contend against the Saintess of 10,000 emergence. It wasn't that her talent was inferior to the Saintess of All Beginnings, but she didn't have as many resources as the Holy Land of All Beginnings. It seemed that the next priority was to improve Lu Mingyue's combat strength to at least the Saintess level. There was still some time before the Saintess of All Beginnings arrived in the northern region. Lin Xian and the others could use this time to improve Lu Mingyue's strength. Thinking of this, the 3 of them moved quickly. The northern region's terrain was relatively flat, but it wasn't without mountains and forests. Lin Xian didn't set off blindly. He released the little white monkey and asked him to guide the way. Don't look at how the little white monkey wouldn't make a move during normal battles. However, when it came to finding treasures, he was an expert. No one could compare with him. Therefore, as soon as Little White came out, he held a small, worn-out bowl and mumbled to himself like a little charlatan. The next moment, he pointed in a direction with his big black eyes and jumped happily. "Let's go!" Lin Xian and the others didn't hesitate. They turned into a bolt of lightning and set off in the direction the little white monkey pointed. They were very fast and arrived at their destination half a day later. "Where is this?" Seeing the scene below, Lu Mingyue frowned slightly. "Do you know this place?" Lin Xian asked. "Full Moon Forest, a very famous place in the northern region. It's very dangerous here. Ordinary kings don't dare to come here." "So dangerous? What about it? Are there any treasures?" "Yes, there are a lot of them. But demonic beasts run rampant here. Each of them is extremely powerful. There are even some extremely terrifying existences. So it's very dangerous." "I see. Don't worry about the demonic beasts. It's fine as long as there are treasures," Lin Xian said with a smile. "Let's go down and have a look." Then he took the lead and fell down, followed by Lu Mingyue and the Crimson Dragon. There were towering trees and overgrown weeds. There was also a pungent smell of rotting corpses. After entering the forest, Lin Xian and the others frowned. There were corpses everywhere, both human and demonic beasts. They were all in the swamps, and the swamps were black, and some of them were even bubbling. It was filled with poison and a terrifying aura. It was indeed a dangerous place. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. He didn't dare to be careless. After all, this place was very famous in the northern region. "Be careful. Don't get poisoned," Lin Xian reminded. Although they all had the combat power of a saint, they didn't want to fail here. At this moment, Lin Xian's powerful soul power was displayed. He covered everything around him. As long as there was danger, it couldn't escape his senses. Moreover, he gave the Crimson Dragon the 10,000 beast ding for him to use. The Crimson Dragon was from the Dragon Clan. It had dragon blood in its body. Together with the powerful earthly treasures like the 10,000 beast ding, it was enough to intimidate the surrounding demonic beasts. Ordinary demon kings didn't dare to provoke them. After walking for a while, there was indeed no danger. However, when they passed through a black swamp, Lin Xian frowned. He quickly reminded them to be careful. Danger had appeared. Sure enough, in the next moment, a cold aura flashed in front of them. Accompanying it was a demonic aura that swept through the 9 heavens. What a terrifying demon king! Lu Mingyue's expression changed. This aura made her feel fearful. Needless to say, it must be an extremely terrifying demon king to emit such an aura. Lin Xian snorted. "What the hell is this? Come out." Chapter 1877. Lin Xian also snorted. "What the hell is this? Come out." Buzz. A golden figure appeared in front of them. It was like a small house, emitting a cold metallic luster. Golden Divine, Ant the Crimson Dragon, was shocked. It didn't expect to see such a mutated species here. "Kid, be careful. This Golden Divine Ant is extremely powerful and difficult to deal with. Don't get hurt by it." Lin Xian nodded. He knew that the ant race was a terrifying race. Ordinary ants could lift things that were more than 10 times heavier than them, not to mention this kind of mutated Golden Divine Ant. One could only imagine how powerful that power was. The Golden Divine Ant emitted a powerful aura and blocked the way. It seemed like it didn't want Lin Xian and the rest to advance. "Get out of the way, and I won't kill you. Otherwise, don't blame me for being merciless." Lin Xian said coldly. He was only here to look for treasures. He didn't want to fight with these monster kings. However, the golden divine ant didn't appreciate it. It roared and waved its two huge tentacles. They were like two golden, heavenly blades that slashed forward. The golden light shone brightly and instantly enveloped Lin Xian and the rest. Whoosh! Lin Xian and the other two dodged the attack with a flicker. The space they were originally standing in had been split in half. A dark crack appeared on the ground. It was so deep that one couldn't see the bottom. Lowly humans, this isn't a place you can come to. Get out of my way. The golden divine ant's consciousness appeared in the air and clashed with each other to warn them. However, Lin Xian snorted, "You're just a monster king. How dare you be so arrogant and block my way? Since that's the case, don't blame me for being impolite." Lin Xian snorted. Then a powerful sword aura erupted from his body and swept out in all directions. Then Lin Xian pulled out the 9 darkness demonic sword. Shocking killing intent surged into the sky. The sword slashed down with the weight of a mountain. Roar! The golden divine ant let out a furious roar. It didn't expect that these 3 lowly humans would dare to attack it. They really didn't know what death was. In the next moment, the golden body trembled, and a golden domain appeared and enveloped him. Then, the dazzling golden light slammed forward like a wave. Boom! The golden waves crashed into the early stages of the demonic path, causing a huge collision. One had to admit that the golden divine ant was indeed powerful. It was actually able to block Lin Xian's attack. But at this time, the Crimson Dragon and Lu Mingyue also made their move. Lu Mingyue's jade-like hand held a green willow leaf saber and waved it quickly. Saber lights flew out like green lights, slashing through the void and blasting forward. The Crimson Dragon waved its claws, and a large amount of red light formed a terrifying dragon claw that descended from the sky. The 3 experts fought fiercely against the golden divine ant, causing the heavens and earth to explode. The golden divine ant's golden domain was trembling and dimming. However, the golden divine ant was enraged. As a unique beast of heaven and earth, it was incomparably terrifying and possessed boundless strength. Its golden tentacles swept out in all directions. Boom! Boom! All the attacks were swept away by the golden tentacles. The golden divine ant was able to unleash power that was more than 10 times stronger than itself. It was indeed terrifying. Perhaps even a saint would have to retreat when facing such a demonic beast. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly. He had decided to kill the other party. The great dragon sword soul in his body surged, and the sword light on his body became even sharper. Terrifying sword chi intertwined, forming sword runes that seemed to pierce through the sky. The Crimson Dragon even activated the 10,000 bee sting, and at the same time it let out a dragon roar that resounded in all directions. Buzz! A divine dragon's aura surged out, and the golden divine ant was indeed affected. Although it was powerful as a unique beast of heaven and earth, the Crimson Dragon was of the dragon race. In addition, the 10,000 bee sting was restraining it, so its combat strength was affected. Boom! At this time, Lin Xian waved his demonic sword, and a terrifying sword light slashed toward the other party. The sword chi intertwined, forming a black fire qilin. It collided with the golden divine ant and tore at each other. Primal chaos, indestructible palm. Lu Mingyue shouted, and chaotic aura erupted from her body, forming a dazzling palm that grabbed forward. The chaotic aura pierced through the void, and with an indestructible will, it slammed into the golden divine, and instantly the earth trembled, and the golden divine ant kept retreating. Roar! The golden divine ant was surrounded by 3 experts, and it kept retreating, especially that terrifying sword light, which left a sword mark on its body and almost split it into 2. This was unbearable. Therefore, in the next moment, its golden eyes shone brightly, and a terrifying demonic aura surged out. connecting heaven and earth. A golden domain descended from the sky, enveloping Lin Xian and the other two. The golden light shone like the sun, emitting a terrifying demonic aura in the air. It seemed like the golden divine ant wanted to completely refine Lin Xian and the other two. Boom! Lin Xian snorted. Instead of retreating, he advanced. The dragon sword's spiritual domain surged out of his body, turning into a green dragon that soared into the clouds. At the same time, he executed the Armageddon Black Dragon Fist. Countless black dragon shadows dashed forward in the sky. The entire forest was trembling, as if it was about to split open. Clang! 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 The dragon sword's spiritual domain collided with the golden domain, and the sound of metal colliding could be heard. Lin Xian roared, and the spiritual energy in his body surged, blocking the endless golden domain. His body was bathed in sword light, and he flew into the sky against the immense pressure. The Nine Darkness demonic sword seemed to have a spirit, and its power was 10 times stronger than before. The great dragon sword soul in his body roared, unleashing a powerful force. Boom! 100 feet long sword chi streaked across the sky, emitting an eternal light, and shattered the golden aura. At the same time, the Crimson Dragon and the others were also fighting back. What golden domain? Let Ben Huang destroy you. Today, I'll let you know how powerful Ben Huang is. The Crimson Dragon roared, and his dragon claws flew in all directions, blocking the golden domain. He held the 10,000 beast ding in his dragon claws, and a terrifying light soared into the sky. It was extremely powerful. Demonic beast shadows appeared, streaking across the sky, and rushed toward the golden domain that was slowly descending from the sky. Boom! The two collided, and it was as if thousands of divine mountains were pressing down, making it difficult for people to breathe. Chaotic storm! Lu Mingyue also shouted, and then a chaotic light flew out from her hand, turning into countless lightning bolts, shattering countless golden aura waves. Endless power was rampant, and monstrous killing intent was stirring. It was as if heaven and earth no longer existed. A large area of the void cracked open, and demonic beasts roared in the distance. Countless forests were directly destroyed. The void, tens of thousands of feet wide, became a terrifying killing ground. Other than Lin Xian and the others, no other creatures dared to approach. Waves of air surged, and violent energy stirred the forest. Endless sounds of explosions rang out, completely drowning out the area. Chapter 1878. Lin Xian and the other two snorted coldly. Their expressions were extremely solemn. However, the Golden Divine ant wasn't having a good time either. Even though it was a mutated species, it was still injured after being attacked by 3 experts. Its golden domain was completely broken, and its body was severely injured. Terrifying palm prints and sword marks appeared on its body. Anger. The Golden Divine ant was completely enraged. It had never been so severely injured before. Previously, it didn't take the other party seriously because 2 humans and a snake were no threat to it at all. But now it realized that it was completely wrong. The snake could emit the aura of the dragon tribe, and the young man was even more ferocious. Even the Golden Divine ant was terrified. It wasn't a foolish beast, but a monster king with intelligence. It naturally knew that such a person was extremely powerful among the humans. However, it didn't leave because it was guarding something, a spiritual medicine of heaven and earth that was about to mature. If it ate that thing, it would benefit greatly. Therefore, it wouldn't leave even though it was in danger now. Damn humans. If you want to enter the depths of the forest, I won't stop you. But you have to go through another place. You can't pass through here. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly. Do you really think you're invincible? You can't defeat the 3 of us at all. Moreover, I'm guessing that you have a treasure behind you. Otherwise, you would have run away long ago. You're courting death. I'll fight it out with you." The golden divine ant roared. It didn't expect the humans to be so cunning. They instantly guessed that it had a treasure behind it. In the next moment, the golden divine ant's body shone with golden light as it summoned the golden domain again. Furthermore, its golden body was also growing larger and larger, like a golden mountain. It was rapidly charging toward them. Another earth-shattering battle broke out. In the end, Lin Xian had no choice but to send out the dragon's soul sword shadow. A shocking sword radiance shone and slashed forward. Poof! This sword radiance was more powerful than all the previous ones. It could even threaten an almighty. No matter how strong the golden divine ant was, it couldn't resist and was finally split in half. Blood splattered everywhere. Its huge golden body split open and landed on the ground, blasting apart countless towering trees. Whoosh! The crimson dragon swayed its tail and flew over. He found a demon core from the huge golden corpse and swallowed it. Lin Xian didn't waste the blood of the golden divine ant either. This was a variant of the heaven and earth. Its flesh and blood contained powerful energy. If it was consumed and refined, it would be beneficial to one's body. Therefore, the three of them directly attacked here. Lu Mingyue brandished her blade and quickly cut the golden body apart. Lin Xian, on the other hand, used the 10,000 beast sting as a vessel to cook it. Soon, a rich aroma wafted out. Lin Xian and the other two immediately drank the soup and ate the meat. This was no ordinary meat. It was the flesh of a powerful Yao King. Thus, with a single bite, countless amounts of energy transformed into sparkling lights that danced in the surroundings. On the other hand, Lin Xian and the others also felt their blood and qi roar, as if a volcano had erupted. The powerful energy brought about a boundless impact to them. Hurry and refine it. Lin Xian used the longevity art to absorb the energy. On the other side, the Crimson Dragon and Lu Mingyue also used their own techniques to refine the energy in their bodies. To them, this was a great opportunity. If they could refine it, they would definitely be able to increase their strength. Just like that, the three of them ate a mouthful of meat and drank a mouthful of soup while refining the energy. Gradually, the spiritual energy in their bodies became more and more abundant. The aroma of the meat naturally attracted the surrounding Yao beasts. For a moment, many figures appeared nearby. However, the crimson dragon snake roared. Coupled with the pressure of the dragon blood in its body, it intimidated everyone. The Yao Kings in the surroundings were so shocked that they quickly fled. The pressure of the dragon blood was a fatal threat to them. They felt a tremor from the depths of their souls. Therefore, they didn't dare to approach. Ah, what a fragrant smell! In the distance, 5 figures stopped. They frowned slightly as they smelled the fragrance in the air. Among the 5 figures, 2 were old men, 1 was middle-aged, and the other 2 were young men. Their auras were powerful, and their eyes shone brightly. At this moment, one of the old men's pupils suddenly dilated as he stared at a certain place in the distance. "There, let's go and take a look." They were also here to look for treasures. Now that they saw the strange fragrance, how could they not be tempted? Therefore, in an instant, the 5 figures turned into lightning and quickly rushed forward. On the other side, Lin Xian and the other 2 were refining the energy in their bodies. Suddenly, Lin Xian opened his eyes. His gaze turned into a sharp sword qi that pierced through the void. "Who's there?" He shouted coldly. It was as if thunder exploded in the air. Lin Xian's soul power was extremely powerful. It was comparable to an almighty. Therefore, when the figures in the distance approached, he felt it. The Crimson Dragon and Lu Mingyue also opened their eyes and looked into the distance with vigilance. In this full moon forest, there were no rules or morals. Killing people to steal treasures and attacking behind their backs could be seen everywhere. Therefore, they had to be careful. Whoosh! 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 In the distance, 5 ghostly figures arrived in an instant. They floated in the void, and their powerful aura crushed everything. It's not a treasure. The 5 of them were the 5 experts who came to explore previously. They looked at the scene in front of them and frowned. They originally thought it was a treasure, but now it seemed that it was not. Someone was barbecuing meat. "Kid, who are you?" One of the young men shouted coldly. His gaze swept across Lin Xian and the other 2, then fixed on Lu Mingyue. Lu Mingyue was not wearing a mask now. She was a peerless beauty. At this moment, she looked at the young man in confusion. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He recognized that they were from the Liang family of the North region through the symbol on their clothes. He did not have a good impression of the Liang family of the North region. Previously, the Liang family went against him, and he even killed the 4th young master of the Liang family. Both sides could be said to be enemies. He did not expect to meet them here. However, Lin Xian was not worried. First of all, there were only 5 of them. There was nothing to be afraid of. Moreover, he and Lu Mingyue had hidden their identities that day. Now that they had returned to their original appearances, the other party should not be able to recognize them. What should we do? Should we attack? Lu Mingyue asked through voice transmission. She did not have a good impression of the people in front of her, especially the 2 young men. They kept looking at her with undisguised greed in their eyes. She hated that kind of gaze. Don't panic. We're here to search for treasures. There's no need to fight too much. Just send them away. Of course, if they don't know what's good for them, we can only keep them here. Who are you? Lin Xian looked at the sky and asked in a deep voice. Chapter 1879. How dare you? We are martial artists from the Liang family. The young man retracted his gaze from Lu Mingyue and shouted coldly. The other party did not answer his question and instead asked him a question. This made him feel belittled. Therefore, if he revealed his identity now, the other party would definitely be scared witless. Liang family. Lin Xian nodded. Why are you here? Hearing this, the cultivators from the Liang clan all frowned. They originally thought that the other party would be scared. After all, their Liang family was one of the top forces in the North region. However, they did not expect that the other party would still look calm after hearing their identity. This made them feel a little incredulous. Could it be that the other party had something to rely on? In the next moment, the young man's lips curled into a cold smile. Everyone has a share. Since we've met, let's have a share. Kid, you can get lost now. Leave the things in the black cauldron. Also, this beauty is mine. Saying that, he looked at Lu Mingyue, and the light in his eyes became even brighter. Humph! Lu Mingyue snorted coldly, and her expression was infinitely cold. A terrifying aura surged from her body. Feeling this aura, the Liang family martial artists on the other side changed their expressions. They did not expect the other party to be so powerful. Lin Xian also snorted coldly, and a sharp sword light circled around his body. He took a step forward and said in a deep voice, I didn't want to provoke you at first, but you actually dared to have ideas about me. In that case, let's fight. You're courting death. The Liang family martial artist was furious. The other party dared to threaten him. They really did not know what was good for them. Just as he was about to attack, he was stopped by the old man in front of him. Stop! The fat old man shouted coldly. This is the end of the matter. Don't forget why we're here. Yes, elder. Hearing the fat old man's words, the young man did not dare to resist and could only give up. However, he still glared fiercely at Lin Xian and the others. Kid, you're lucky this time. Don't let me meet you again, or you'll end up very badly. After speaking, The 5 cultivators no longer paid any attention to Lin Xian and the others. Instead, they turned around and left. Seeing this, Lin Xian coldly snorted. Fortunately, the other party did not make a move. Otherwise, he would have let the other party know the consequences of greed. After the people from the Liang clan left, Lin Xian, Lu Mingyue, and Lu Mingyue cultivated for a while before they went on their way. There was still some golden flesh left, but Lin Xian had stored it in the black earth. In any case, they would have plenty of time to cultivate in the future. What they had just absorbed had also improved their cultivation by quite a bit. At this time, the most important thing was to continue moving forward, because they guessed that the golden divine ant was guarding some kind of natural treasure. If they could obtain it, their cultivation would definitely increase greatly. The deeper they went, the more demonic beasts there were. Some poisonous snakes and insects also appeared from time to time. However, in front of the powerful strength of Lin Xian and the other 2, all obstacles were swept away. Sure enough, a mountain stream appeared in front of him. Within the mountain stream, there was a ball of light. Mystical spirit fruit. Lin Xian exclaimed in surprise. As an alchemist, he had a precise grasp of all the spiritual herbs in the world. The thing in front of him was the legendary and precious mystical spirit fruit. What? It's actually the mystical spirit fruit. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Lu Mingyue's eyes burned with passion. As a genius disciple of the sacred land, she had naturally heard of the mystical spirit fruit. This was definitely a natural treasure. It seemed that this trip was not in vain. With this mystical spirit fruit, she would definitely be able to break through her cultivation and become a true holy maiden. Soon, Lin Xian and the other 2 prepared to pick the mystical spirit fruit. However, at this time, the sound of something breaking through the air came from afar. Immediately after, a series of arrogant voices sounded. "Haha, I didn't expect to find another natural treasure. This time, it's actually the mystical spirit fruit again. The heavens bless our Liang clan and let us find countless natural treasures." Voices rang out one after another as 5 figures appeared in the sky. They were none other than the 5 who had encountered Lin Xian's group earlier. The 5 Liang clan elites' eyes burned with passion as they stared at the mystical spirit fruit in front of them. However, soon, one of the elders frowned and looked to his left. "It's you guys again." He didn't expect to meet Lin Xian and the others here. "Kid, this isn't something you can touch. If you know what's good for you, scram. Otherwise, if you anger us, you're dead meat." The young man's face was full of arrogance as he stared at Lu Mingyue with a gleam in his eyes. "I've said it before. Don't let me meet you guys again. Otherwise, you'll meet a terrible end. I didn't expect to meet you guys so soon. It seems that the heavens want me to get rid of you. Kid, you were very arrogant before. How dare you scold me? Obediently kneel by the side and wait for your death. I can give you a quick death. Otherwise, I'll let you taste a fate worse than death. And this little beauty beside you, I'm going to enjoy her. I don't think you have any objections, right?" As he finished speaking, he looked at Lin Xian and the others with a fierce aura in his eyes. Below, Lin Xian and the others frowned. They didn't expect to meet the Liang clan elites again. Moreover, the other party was so arrogant and seemed to want the mystical spirit fruit as well. The Liang clan is really despicable. They oppose us at every turn. The Crimson Dragon snorted coldly. Lu Mingyue's expression was also icy cold. The other party dared to have ideas about her. They must have a death wish. Therefore, she asked in a low voice, "Lin Xian, are you going to do it?" "I'm going to do it myself." As a genius of the sacred land, Lu Mingyue had her own pride. Apart from losing to Lin Xian, she had never been afraid of anyone. At this moment, the Liang clan had repeatedly tried to take advantage of her. Murderous intent had already formed in her heart. "Of course we're going to do it." Lin Xian's voice was also cold. Since they've come to die, they can't blame us. Your words are enough. Lu Mingyue nodded. Then, killing intent quickly surged from her body. A green willow leaf saber appeared in her hand, and she quickly slashed forward. You actually dare to attack us? You must have a death wish. 50-fold from the Liang clan sneered, and the two elders' expressions were even colder. The 5 of them were all 6-star kings, and the 2 elders were even elites among 6-star kings. The other party was 2 young people and a snake. What could they do? They probably couldn't even fight a 6-star king, right? Therefore, the Liang clan didn't take it to heart all. Little beauty, you actually dared to attack me. You have quite a temper. However, I like people like you. The young man sneered and quickly counterattacked. He stretched out a large green hand and grabbed forward. Come, little beauty. Come into this young master's embrace. Following this young master is your great fortune. The large green hand shone brightly as it grabbed toward Lu Mingyue from all directions. Chapter 1880. Boom! However, in the next moment, the youth from the Liang family screamed in agony as blood splattered in the air. The large green palm was cut open by the blade, and the spiritual energy in the air quickly surged. Not only that, but the youth from the Liang family's arm was also sliced off mercilessly. Damn it, how dare you hurt me? I'm going to kill you. The youth from the Liang family held his arm and retreated quickly with a twisted expression. His eyes glowed red as he stared at Lu Mingyue with murderous intent. He did not expect his opponent's sword technique to be so sharp that she could slice off his arm in an instant. Bitch, when I catch you later, I'll let you know what it means to wish you were dead. The youth from the Liang family quickly stopped the bleeding, and a long sword appeared in his hand as he slashed downwards. Lu Mingyue let out a cold snort. Her figure floated like a fairy, and she quickly rushed forward. Seeing that the 2 of them were about to fight, Lin Xian frowned and quickly reminded her, Mingyue, be careful! His soul power had sensed an extremely unusual fluctuation. Indeed, in the next moment, the entire place began to shake rapidly as if an earthquake had occurred. Countless shockwaves rolled out, and then a huge monster flew out from the ground at high speed. Boom! Along with it was a terrifying aura and a black poisonous substance that filled the air. Whoosh! Lu Mingyue heard Lin Xian's warning, and with her powerful strength, countless rays of chaotic light appeared under her feet as she quickly retreated into the distance. At the same time, chaotic qi surged from her body and formed a light screen to protect her body. However, the youth from the Liang family was not so lucky. Half of his body was swept by the black fog, and his body caved in immediately. Half of his body was rotten. His protective armor and defensive light were of no use in the face of this black poisonous gas. Ah! The youth from the Liang family screamed in horror. He did not dare to be arrogant and only wanted to leave as soon as possible. However, in the next moment, the black poisonous gas engulfed his body. Soon, the youth from the Liang family turned into a pool of blood. Lu Mingyue's face turned pale when she saw this. Fortunately, she had Lin Xian's warning and her powerful strength to avoid the black fog. Otherwise, she would probably end up in a miserable state. When the other 4 Liang family martial practitioners saw the scene, their faces became even more gloomy. In such a short time, their Liang family had already lost an expert. Damn it, what is that thing? Another black-robed young man frowned and looked ahead. The next moment, he was stunned. This was because there was a giant purple centipede in front of him. It was at least 1,000 meters long. There were tens of thousands of purple tentacles in the 2 rows, and one head was as big as a house. It opened its bloody mouth and spat out a black mist. His 2 purple eyes were incomparably demonic. This was definitely a powerful and terrifying demon king. The moment the purple centipede appeared, It stared at the mystical spirit fruit. Then it slithered forward. "You're courting death." Seeing this scene, the fat elder of the Liang family roared in anger and punched out. The terrifying fist shone brightly and carried a powerful force. It was like thousands of mountains as it blasted forward. However, the black centipede turned its head and spat out black poisonous gas from its bloody mouth. When the terrifying fist landed on the black poisonous gas, it was as if it had entered a swamp and its speed slowed down. Not only that, but the light on the fist also dimmed and continued to shrink until it finally disappeared into the air. What a terrifying poisonous gas! It can even corrode an attack. The Liang family elders' face darkened. The opponent's strength was beyond their expectations. However, their target was also the mystical spirit fruit, so they would not let the purple centipede succeed. In the next moment, the fat elder said in a low voice, "The two of us will stop this beast. The two of you will go and pick the mystical spirit fruit." Then the two elders of the Liang family stood side by side in the void. The energy in their bodies surged rapidly. They were like two mountains that were too high to reach. The black-robed young man and middle-aged man from the Liang family moved and flew toward the mystical spirit fruit. They are about to make a move. Should we make a move as well? Lu Mingyue asked in a low voice. "No need. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. Let them make the first move. We only need to strike when the time is right." Lin Xian's lips curled into a cold smile. In front of them, the purple centipede roared when it saw that someone was flying toward the mystical spirit fruit. The thousands of palms danced quickly like a demon. Streaks of black light turned into ribbons and rushed forward. They were like thousands of long spears that pierced through the void. The middle-aged man and the black-robed young man's faces changed drastically when they saw the black light rushing toward them. They did not dare to be careless against the black centipede. Hence, they quickly used their peerless movement techniques. In the end, they narrowly avoided most of the attacks. However, the two of them were still hit by some of the black light. They immediately spat out mouthfuls of blood as if they had been struck by lightning. Although they were injured, they were not in mortal danger and could still pick the mystical spirit fruit. When the two Liang family elders saw this, they roared in anger, "Beast, you are courting death! Your opponent is us." In the next moment, the two elders attacked together. The fat elder waved his arm. Immediately, a large red palm appeared in the sky. It covered the sky and the sun and grabbed downward like a burning cloud. The other elder brandished a blue whip, which transformed into a water dragon, surging and roaring. It trapped the purple centipede. The two men and the beast fought fiercely. They were in a stalemate for a while. On the other side, the black-robed young man and the middle-aged man had picked 5 mystical spirit fruits. They were overjoyed and quickly retreated. As they flew, they shouted, "Elder, we got it! We got it!" When the two Liang family elders saw this, they were also overjoyed. They quickly said, "You guys leave quickly. We will hold this beast back." They had to hold the purple centipede back because the purple centipede roared in anger when it saw the mystical spirit fruit being taken away. The demonic aura on its body became even more terrifying. However, in the next moment, something strange happened. A green domain appeared in the distance and instantly enveloped the black-robed young man and the middle-aged man. Damn it! Who dares to attack the Liang family? When they saw this, the two Liang family elders were so angry that they spat out blood. They were originally overjoyed because they had obtained the precious, mystical spirit fruit. It would allow the Liang family to have another powerful cultivator. However, they did not expect that their joy would not last long before someone attacked them. Although murdering and robbing were common occurrences, they were always the ones who made the first move. No one had ever dared to attack the Liang family. However, There was someone who did not know what was good for them and dared to steal the treasure that the Liang family wanted. Chapter 1881. But now, someone actually dared to snatch the treasure that the Liang family had set their eyes on. D***, who is it? The elders of the Liang family fought against the purple centipede while using their sole power to check the situation behind them. Then the two of them were stunned. "Kid, it's you!" They did not expect that the one who attacked was a youth that they had overlooked. That's right, it was Lin Xian. Seeing that the Liang family had attacked, Lin Xian quietly followed them and used the Dragon Sword Realm at the right time to cover the two of them. Then, the two of them fought back fiercely. But how could they be a match for Lin Xian? Soon the two of them were killed. The 5 mystical spiritual fruits were crystal clear and emitted a fragrance that floated in the Dragon Sword Realm. Then Lin Xian kept them. The next moment he laughed loudly. "Thank you for your help, Liang family. We'll meet again." He was indeed very happy. This time he had obtained 5 mystical spiritual fruits without any effort. It was a great thing. With that, he waved his hand and took the crimson dragon and Lu Mingyue into the sky and flew into the distance. D***, "Kid, no matter where you run to, I'll catch you. I'll pull out your tendons, skin you alive, and tear you to pieces." The two elders of the Liang family roared crazily. The next moment, they sent out a palm of light that rushed forward. Boom! There was a shocking explosion. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the two elders moved away from the purple centipede and began to chase after Lin Xian. They swore that they would catch him and let him know what it was like to live a life worse than death, and take back the mystical spiritual fruits. "They're coming. Should we solve the problem?" In front, Lu Mingyue frowned. "No need." Lin Xian shook his head. "Let them chase. With their speed, they can't catch up to us." The next moment, Lin Xian's Dragon Sword Realm rushed out and enveloped Lu Mingyue and the Crimson Dragon. Then they turned into an azure dragon and disappeared into the sky. D***, the two elders of the Liang family stopped in midair and roared madly, because they realized that they had lost track of him. The other party's speed was simply too fast. Even if the two of them chased with all their might, they still couldn't catch up. "Damned brat, no matter where you run to, I will catch you. I will let you know the consequences of offending the Liang family." Angry roars resounded throughout the forest, scaring countless demonic beasts into fleeing. However, none of this had anything to do with Lin Xian. The harvest this time was really too bountiful. In addition to the 5 mystical spirit fruits, Lin Xian also found other natural treasures in the storage rings of the middle-aged man from the Liang clan and the black-clothed youth. A water lingji, a violet sunflower, and half of a branch from the heavenly incense divine tree. These were all precious treasures of heaven and earth, enough for them to consume for some time. Therefore, they directly left the full moon forest. After arriving at a safe place, Lin Xian set up a formation and the few of them entered the black earth. They didn't directly consume these natural treasures of heaven and earth. Instead, they let Lin Xian refine the elixirs. Then, they swallowed the elixirs. This way, they could maximize the use of these natural treasures. Lin Xian went into seclusion and began to refine the elixirs. On the other side, in the southern region of the eastern wasteland, the All Beginnings Holy Land. In the All Beginnings Holy Land, the All Beginnings Holy Daughter was dressed in a beautiful robe. She was extremely beautiful, but her beautiful face was abnormally cold at this moment. This time, she had gathered 100 experts. However, she didn't set off. Instead, she waited quietly. Whoosh! Whoosh! Not long after, the sky suddenly fluctuated. Then, 2 streams of light flew over from afar. Whoosh! The two streams of light were very fast. They arrived in front of everyone in an instant. Finally, two figures appeared. Accompanying them was a huge gust of wind that blew on everyone's faces. They were two middle-aged men. One of them was dressed in a red robe. He had a fair face and no beard. The other was dressed in a blue robe. He had a majestic gait and a burly figure. As soon as the two of them appeared, they looked at the All-Beginning's holy daughter. Holy daughter. The two of them nodded slightly. A smile finally appeared on the All-Beginning's holy daughter's cold face. With the help of these two elders, no matter what the problem is, it should be solved this time. Behind her, the 100 All-Beginning's Holy Land cultivators were extremely shocked. Almighties! Yes, the two middle-aged men in front were the All-Beginning's Holy Land's elders. They were also Almighties. They didn't expect that the All-Beginning's holy daughter would find two Almighties to solve the matter of the northern region. It seemed that no matter who was behind this, they wouldn't be able to contend against them. In that case, let's set off. I want to see who's behind all this. The All-Beginning's holy daughter waved her sleeve and led the two Almighties and 100 experts onto the teleportation platform. Buzz! The huge teleportation array flickered with light. It formed a powerful force and started the teleportation. Then, the group of people disappeared from the teleportation array. In the secret chamber, Lin Xian opened his eyes and looked at the 10,000 beast ding in front of him. The corners of his mouth rose into a smile. This time's harvest allowed him to refine 108 supreme-grade pills. These pills were very suitable for their current cultivation. Even if Almighties ate them, they would have a powerful effect. Since the pills had been refined, Lin Xian found Lu Mingyue, the Crimson Dragon, and the Snow White Monkey to distribute the pills to them. Then they began to cultivate in seclusion. When they came out of seclusion, they began to prepare to kill the All-Beginning's holy daughter. Northern region. It had been some time since the exhibition of the holy daughter's undergarments, but the aftermath still lingered. In every city, in the streets and alleys, people could be seen talking about this matter everywhere. Purple Cloud City was a very famous city in the northern region. There were many cultivators in the city, and it could be said that it was the place where news of the northern region spread. Here, the version of the exhibition that was circulating was the most. Everyone talked about it with relish and even exaggerated it. After all, the All-Beginning's holy daughter was an unattainable existence for them. Now that there was an opportunity to ridicule the All-Beginning's holy daughter, they naturally wouldn't miss it. However, on this day, while they were drinking tea and chatting, a huge vortex of spiritual power suddenly appeared in the sky above Purple Cloud City. This scene directly attracted the attention of all the cultivators in the entire Purple Cloud City. At this moment, countless cultivators looked up at the sky. In the Purple Cloud Palace, the experts and elders of the Gu family frowned. They were no stranger to this vision. It was a vision of heaven and earth formed by cross-region teleportation. Needless to say, someone must have used the super teleportation array to teleport between regions. Ordinary sects didn't deserve to have this kind of teleportation array. Only peerless holy lands, great sects, and remote antiquity families could have it. They didn't know which holy land this person was from. Chapter 1882. Boom, boom, boom. A huge vortex of spiritual power spun in the sky like a bottomless pit, about to swallow the entire city. In the surroundings, bolts of lightning appeared and bombarded the void. Boom! Finally, countless figures emerged from the huge vortex of spiritual power. There were more than 100 people densely packed together. As soon as these people appeared, they didn't land immediately. Instead, they waited for a while before they began to fly down in an orderly manner. Accompanying them was an extremely powerful aura. It was as if countless mountains had fallen from the sky, making the warriors in the city breathless. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Looking at this scene, the elders of the Gu family in the Purple Cloud City also moved and flew into the sky. Gu Xiao also appeared in the sky. He looked at the figures descending from above and asked in a clear voice, "Which holy land have you come to my Purple Cloud City?" His voice was like a clap of thunder rolling out. The Purple Cloud City was the territory of the Gu family, so they naturally had to figure out the other party's identity. Soon, a response came from the sky. "We are warriors of the All Beginnings Holy Land. This time, our Saintess of All Beginnings is leading us to enjoy the great scenery of the northern region." They didn't expect to alarm the fellow Taoists of the Gu family. After this voice, a coquettish voice rang out. "Zhang Xiu of All Beginnings greets the elders and seniors." What? It's really the Saintess of All Beginnings. Hearing this voice, the elders of the Gu family were moved. The warriors of the Purple Cloud City were even more shocked. They had been talking about her every day. They didn't expect her to come to the northern region. Needless to say, it must be related to the incident of the Saintess undergarment. It seemed that the northern region would not be peaceful again. They knew that the Saintess of All Beginnings would definitely investigate this matter. They were afraid that the force behind it would come to light. At this time, 2 long roars came from the sky. "Ha ha! Fellow Taoists of the Gu family, long time no see. It's you two. You two are also here." Gu Xiao and the elders of the Gu family were also surprised. They didn't expect the Saintess of All Beginnings to not only bring 100 elite masters, but also 2 almighty figures. It seemed that the Saintess of All Beginnings was really angry. "Fellow Taoist Shuang, fellow Taoist Fei, long time no see," the elders of the Gu family also quickly responded. "What? 2 almighties have come." When those martial artists below saw this scene, they were also extremely shocked. 2 almighties and 100 elite martial artists would definitely be able to set off a bloody storm in the northern region. He just didn't know if the person hiding in the darkness and controlling the Saintess undergarment would be able to withstand it. The arrival of the Saintess of All Beginnings caused a sensation in the entire Purple Cloud City. Soon, the news spread like a gust of wind, sweeping through the other cities. Moreover, it was spreading throughout the entire northern region. Everyone knew that a storm was coming. On the other side, inside the Black Earth, Lin Xian and the other 2 took the pills and went into seclusion to make breakthroughs in their cultivation. Among them, Lin Xian had broken through to the middle stage of the 5-star king realm, and the Crimson Dragon had broken through to the late stage of the 5-star king realm. Both of their strengths had increased tremendously. In fact, Lin Xian felt that even if he were to encounter an almighty, he would still be able to fight back. On the other side, Lu Mingyue also came out of seclusion. Her strength had finally reached the level of a true saintess. The strength of the 3 of them had increased greatly, so their confidence was greatly boosted. I wonder what the situation outside is like. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Let's go out and inquire about the situation and then make our arrangements. Lin Xian flew out, while the Crimson Dragon and Lu Mingyue remained in the Black Earth. Half a day later, he landed in a city. In fact, there was no need for him to inquire at all. Now, the news of the Saintess of All Beginnings was circulating in every city. Therefore, he got the news easily. She came so quickly. Lin Xian frowned slightly after learning the news of the Saintess of All Beginnings' arrival. He didn't expect that the other party would bring 2 almighty figures and more than 100 masters. Lin Xian hurried back to the Black Earth to discuss with the Crimson Dragon and Lu Mingyue. Among them, the Crimson Dragon counted the formations in his hands and felt that they could resist the Saintess. At this time, the Black Earth also flew out and provided some of the formations that were originally left in the Black Earth. In this way, it was enough to resist 100 elite kings. The rest were the Saintess of All Beginnings and the 2 almighty figures. With Lu Mingyue's current strength, she should be able to resist the Saintess of All Beginnings. Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon could also resist the almighty figures. However, it was not certain how long they could resist the Saintess of all beginnings. But the success rate should be more than 50%. This success rate was already very high, so Lin Xian didn't hesitate and was ready to give it a try. If it really didn't work, he could retreat calmly. Next, the three of them began to act. They chose Northern Liang City, a relatively remote and desolate city in the northern region. The Crimson Dragon used the formations to create some ghostly scenes in the city, causing all the residents in the city to leave. In other words, the Northern Liang City they chose had become an empty city at this moment. Then the Crimson Dragon arranged the formations in and near the city. After everything was arranged, Lin Xian began to spread the news. Soon, the warriors in the northern region received the news and were in an uproar. They couldn't believe it. What did you say? Did I hear it wrong? Someone wants to auction the Saintess undergarment? You didn't hear it wrong. I did get accurate news. That person is really going to do it. Heavens, this is too crazy. The Saintess of all beginnings had just arrived in the northern region, but the other party wanted to auction the Saintess undergarment. This was obviously going against the Saintess of all beginnings. Excited, it was really too exciting. Everyone seemed to have been injected with chicken blood and quickly spread the news. Soon, the entire northern region was in an uproar. Even the top forces like the Gu family, the Liang family, and the Four Symbols Holy Lands were very puzzled. What kind of existence dared to go against the Saintess of all beginnings? After the Saintess of all beginnings heard the news, her face was incomparably gloomy. Her beautiful eyes exuded a terrifying killing intent. Humph! The other party is really reckless. He actually dares to appear at this time. Let him be arrogant for a while. After we go over, we will definitely catch him and tear him to pieces. I want to see who dares to go against our all beginnings, holy land. Cold shouts sounded as the warriors of the all beginnings, holy land snorted. Obviously, they were really angry at the other party's provocation. The Saintess of all beginnings also calmed down and asked in a deep voice, "Is there any specific news?" She knew that now was not the time to lose her temper. She had to catch the other party, first to prevent things from escalating further. "Not yet, but it should be soon," her subordinate replied. "Good, continue to scout. Once there is news, leave and report it." Yes. Then many scouts left. In the main hall, the atmosphere was gloomy. In this way, after waiting for another 3 days, the Saintess of all beginnings finally received news. Chapter 1883. 7 days later, in northern Liang City, the Saintess undergarment was auctioned. The news spread like wildfire, and the entire northern region was in an uproar. The Saintess of all beginnings also received the news. Her face turned cold, and a murderous look appeared in her eyes. She didn't expect that the other party would finally make a move, but this time she wanted to see who dared to be presumptuous in front of her. Everyone listen up. We'll set off for northern Liang City immediately. Soon, the Saintess of all beginnings left with her people. They set off for northern Liang City. Not only them, but most of the warriors in the entire northern region also set off for northern Liang City. They also wanted to see who was behind all this and dared to fight against the Saintess of all beginnings. Northern Liang City was empty at this moment, except for Lin Xian and the other two and the countless formations set up by them. But 1 day later, some people appeared in the city. Over the next few days, more and more people appeared, but most of them wandered outside the city. Only some extremely bold people dared to enter the city. As for the people outside the city, they were all waiting. They were waiting for the arrival of the Saintess of all beginnings. They knew that there would be a fierce battle between the two sides, and they didn't want to be involved in such a storm. On the 5th day, Lin Xian directly threw the Saintess undergarment into the sky, and it floated above northern Liang City. This scene immediately attracted the attention of those warriors. One had to know that although many people had gone to the exhibition, it was still too little compared to the entire northern region. At this moment, most people hadn't seen the saintess undergarment with their own eyes, so when they saw it appear in the sky, they were all excited. Many people even directly flew into the sky to see it at a close distance. This is the saintess of all beginnings undergarment. It's really fragrant. The chaotic chi on it is too strong, and it even has the body fragrance of a young girl. It really is the saintess undergarment. Seeing it this trip is not in vain. I wonder what price this item can be auctioned for. It's really exciting to think about it. Boom! Suddenly, there was a shocking fluctuation in the distance. Dazzling auras flashed and swept over like waves. Suddenly, the faces of the people around northern Liang City changed dramatically, and they looked frightened. This aura made their hearts tremble, and they couldn't resist it at all. Boom! Boom! In the next moment, the sky full of brilliance arrived nearby, and a terrifying pressure spread out for thousands of miles, making one's hair stand on end. Puff! In the sky, a huge primal chaos hand stretched out. It was like a demonic mountain that came crashing down rapidly. Suddenly, the martial artists who were watching the doo-doo in the sky were blasted into a bloody mist and ceased to exist. Seeing this scene, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Their faces turned pale, and their bodies trembled nonstop. This is the Chaos Palm. The experts of the All Beginnings Holy Land have arrived. They must have seen the doo-doo of the saintess in the sky, so they were angry. Sure enough, the martial artists who were still in the sky felt their scalps go numb as they looked into the distance as if they had gone mad. They were merely curious and excited, and wanted to observe the battle from a closer distance. Never had they imagined that they would run into people from the All Beginnings Holy Land. Most likely, they were going to run out of luck. The All Beginning Holy Land would definitely attack them. Sure enough, in the next moment, the terrifying chaotic palm in the sky slammed down again. It pierced through the void and enveloped dozens of King Realm experts. A terrifying power swept past them. Instantly, the dozen or so kings in the sky exploded. Humph! Who dares to blaspheme the saintess of all beginnings? The All Beginnings Holy Land is handling this matter. Those who have nothing to do with it scram. Cold shouts resounded in the sky. The martial artists of northern Liang City all had frightened expressions as they frantically flew out of the city. They didn't dare to stay here any longer. If the people of the All Beginnings Holy Land treated them as enemies, they wouldn't be able to leave. Soon, everyone retreated from northern Liang City. The city became empty once more. As for the other martial artists, they gathered outside northern Liang City and silently watched the battle. Humph! The sky trembled once more as a large hand grabbed the saintess doo-doo. The void trembled rapidly like a painting, as if it would shatter at any moment. However, right at this moment, a ray of light that was pitch black like ink charged out from within northern Liang City. Soon after, it turned into a black fire qilin and soared into the sky. Accompanying it was a terrifying aura. Feeling this aura, everyone's heart trembled. They couldn't help but want to kneel down. What a terrifying power! Who is it? When the martial artists outside the city saw this scene, their faces turned pale. Boom! In the sky, the black fire qilin collided with the terrifying heavenly palm. The two energies sublimated and exploded. Dazzling light rushed in all directions. In the end, the black fire qilin roared and tore apart the heavenly palm with its valiant strength. Humph! A cold snort was heard. Obviously, the people of the All Beginnings Holy Land were very dissatisfied with the other party's strength. In the next moment, the saintess of all beginnings arrived with countless experts. Who are you? Get out here. In the sky, an old man roared loudly. His voice rolled and swept down. However, there was no response from the city. It was empty and there was no one in sight. It was as if the black fire Qilin just now had come from hell and wasn't created by someone. Seeing this scene, the saintess of all beginnings frowned. The experts she brought with her were also frowning, because the city below them was too strange. They had probed it with their soul power more than once, but they couldn't sense any energy, fluctuations at all. The martial artists outside the city also looked at each other. They didn't know who it was. In the city, Lin Xian, the Crimson Dragon, and Lu Mingyue hid in the array and concealed all their auras. Even a powerful figure couldn't detect their existence. Therefore, the saintess of all beginnings couldn't see Lin Xian and the other two, but Lin Xian and the others could see the situation above. Is that the saintess of all beginnings? Lin Xian looked up at the sky. Among them, there was a woman in a beautiful robe. Her aura was very special. Standing in the crowd, he could recognize her at a glance. Yes, it's her. Her name is Zheng Xiao, Lu Mingyue said coldly. Lin Xian nodded. Then he turned his eyes and glanced at the 100 experts behind the saintess of all beginnings. However, when he saw two of the middle-aged men, his pupils suddenly shrank. Powerful figures. The Crimson Dragon was also nervous. Damn it, this woman brought two powerful figures. Yes, the red-robed middle-aged man and the blue-robed middle-aged man in the sky were two powerful figures. Their chi and blood were like dragons, soaring into the sky. Everyone couldn't help but want to kneel down and worship them. Lin Xian was shocked, but then he snorted coldly. So what if a powerful figure came? This time they were well prepared, so even if a powerful figure came, they couldn't stop them. Chapter 1884. The next moment, he used a formation to make the saintess undergarment appear on the streets of the city again. Damn it, it's here again. In the sky, the people of the All Beginnings Holy Land saw this scene, and their faces immediately turned gloomy. This was clearly a provocation. I'll go and kill him. A young man walked out with an abnormally cold expression. He looked at the saintess of all beginnings with a trace of adoration in his eyes. Then he said coldly, "Saintess, let me go." Okay. The saintess of all beginnings nodded and did not stop him. Given the current situation, she had to send someone to investigate the situation. Seeing that the saintess had allowed it, the young man was overjoyed. His figure flashed, turned into a stream of light, and rushed down. Whoosh! In an instant he appeared in the city. I don't care who you are. Hurry up and come out to die. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. The young man swept his gaze around and shouted coldly. No one responded to him. Only the saintess undergarment in front of him was floating, emitting traces of primal chaos aura. The young man snorted coldly, thinking that the other party did not dare to come out. Therefore, he strode forward, wanting to seize the saintess undergarment. Soon, he arrived in front of the undergarment. When he smelled the fragrance, a trace of light appeared in his eyes. He stretched out his hand to grab it, but at this moment, countless sword chi appeared behind him and quickly condensed into a figure. Pooh! With a sweep of the sword, a head flew up and blood sprayed everywhere. The corpse fell, dyeing the ground red. Seeing this scene, the people outside the city were stunned. They had been paying close attention to the situation in the city, but they did not expect that someone would suddenly appear and kill the people of the All Beginnings Holy Land. This kind of method was heaven-defying. In the sky, the saintess of all beginnings and the others frowned when they saw this scene. The other party had killed the young man in front of them. This was undoubtedly a slap to their faces. Therefore, everyone's expression was unsightly. Saintess, I'm willing to go down and kill the murderer. I'm willing too. I'll go too. Exclamations sounded one after another. Then 8 figures turned into azure dragons and descended on the streets of the city. Their auras were like dragons, and primal chaos aura spread out in all directions. Everyone stared at the blurry figure in front of them. This figure was one of the sword god phantoms of Lin Xian's six-god sword art. At this moment, seeing 8 more people rushing over, Lin Xian released the other 5 sword god phantoms. He faced off against the 8 All Beginnings Holy Land cultivators. Kill! The great battle was on the verge of breaking out, but it ended quickly. The 8 kings had their foreheads pierced by the sword. Blood splattered everywhere as 8 corpses fell to the ground. 1 sword. Another sword. The 6 sword god phantoms attacked at the same time, killing 8 experts with 1 strike. They were like gods of death, standing quietly on the street, the sword chi in their hands pointing to the sky. Terrifying killing intent overflowed into the sky, sweeping through the 9 heavens. I'll go kill him. This time, there were a few old men whose clothes were fluttering in the wind. Their killing intent was awe-inspiring. However, the Saintess of All Beginnings shook her head slightly this time. No need, let's go down together. I want to see what other tricks they can play. Boom! Boom! Countless chaotic lights gathered under the feet of the Saintess of All Beginnings and turned into a divine wind, carrying everyone down. In the next moment, more than 100 people descended. Their huge auras and powerful soul power instantly searched all the streets. However, they didn't find any figures apart from the 6 sword god phantoms on the street. This made them frown, but they weren't too worried. This time, they had 100 experts, the Saintess of All Beginnings, and 2 supreme experts. Unless the other party was a supreme expert, no one could defeat them. And if a supreme expert really attacked them, no matter what the result was, the All Beginnings Holy Land would definitely chase after the other party. They actually came down. Inside the formation, the Crimson Dragon was overjoyed when he saw this scene. Originally, he was still thinking about how to lure all those people down from the sky. He didn't expect that the other party would actually take the initiative to come down. Now, they could close the door and activate the formation. Let's go! Lin Xian didn't hesitate. Soon after, he and Crimson Dragon activated all the formations in the entire northern Liang City, apart from the teleportation formation used to transfer supreme experts. All the other formations bloomed with endless light. Thunder rumbled and booms resounded throughout the world. The entire ground started to tremble. Long rainbows pierced through the clouds like dragons. They were extremely dazzling. In the next moment, the entire northern Liang City was enveloped. Formations. So many formations. Outside northern Liang City, the martial artists felt their scalps go numb. Who would have thought that an empty city would actually have so many spirit arrays set up without anyone noticing? This was simply too unbelievable. Fortunately, they hadn't entered before. Otherwise, they definitely wouldn't have been able to come out. What kind of ruthless person would actually use so many formations to fight against the All Beginnings Holy Land? They were extremely shocked. Resplendent rays of light erupted from their eyes. They wanted to see the scene inside the city. The city was even more dazzling as runes lit up in the surroundings. The expressions of the people from the All Beginnings Holy Land changed. They didn't expect that there would be so many formations waiting for them. Saintess, what should we do? The kings quickly asked. The aura released by the formations in front of them was too terrifying. Even if they had more than 100 experts, it would still be very difficult to deal with them. The Saintess of All Beginnings coldly snorted. Her expression was extremely cold. What are you afraid of? Aren't they just some formations? You guys should also use the Chaos Sword formation to fight against these formations. As long as someone appears, kill them without mercy. After saying that, a sharp killing intent appeared in her eyes. It turned into 2 resplendent rays of light that pierced through the doo-doo in front of her. In an instant, the pink doo-doo in front of her was shattered. The two Almighties had calm expressions because these formations couldn't threaten them. Thus, their eyes erupted with light. Their powerful soul power formed a storm. Who is it? Come out. What? You still don't dare to come out? The saintess of all beginnings sneered. Don't dare to come out? You guys think too highly of yourselves. We've always been here. It's just that you guys are too weak to discover us. A mocking laugh sounded from the opposite side. Then the formations flickered and Lin Xian and the other two appeared. Saintess of all beginnings? How impressive. You brought so many people here, but you think they can protect your life? Today, Ben Huang will kill the saintess. His name will spread throughout the eastern wasteland. You want to kill me with just you guys? You guys overestimate yourselves. The saintess of all beginnings sneered. I'm the saintess. You guys can't even imagine how powerful I am. You're just lucky to become the saintess. If you really want to compete with strength and talent, you don't have the qualifications to become the saintess. At this moment, a cold voice sounded. Chapter 1885. Then, the saintess of all beginnings' expression changed. The Holy Land cultivators behind her also widened their eyes in disbelief. Even the two Almighties frowned. Lu Mingyue, it's really you. The saintess of all beginnings' eyes were filled with killing intent. I didn't expect you to use such a despicable method. That undergarment is yours, right? So what if it is? You've tried to kill us over and over again. Do you really think we're easy to bully? Today, I'm going to cut you down with my sword. Lin Xian took a step forward. The sword qi on his body shone, making him look like a sword immortal. You, a 5-star king, dares to stand out and show off? Ridiculous. Lu Mingyue, your little lover isn't very smart. He dares to go against the all beginnings holy land. He's really courting death. The saintess of all beginnings looked at Lin Xian with a trace of disdain. A 5-star king was not enough to defeat her. She could kill him with a wave of her finger. So what if I'm a 5-star king? Lin Xian sneered. I'm more than enough to deal with you. I think you're out of your mind. A little 5-star king dares to talk nonsense here? In front of us, you're just a piece of trash, an ant. We can kill you with a wave of our fingers. A young man stood out and sneered. So, you'd better kneel and wait for death. Maybe we'll be happy and give you a quick death. Otherwise, you'll know what it's like to live a life worse than death. A 5-star king is trash? Is that so? Then your saintess clone was easily killed by me. Doesn't that mean she's even worse than trash? You. What did you say? Don't talk nonsense. The young man's eyes widened in disbelief. The other party said that he had killed the saintess clone. How was this possible? He wanted to say something, but the saintess of all beginnings trembled slightly. Her beautiful eyes were filled with endless coldness. Damn, brat, it's you. You dared to kill my clone. I won't spare you today. What? A clone was really killed? Everyone was shocked, and the young man's body trembled, almost kneeling on the ground. The clone of a saintess was at the level of a saintess reserve. Ordinary people would not be able to kill it. However, a 5-star king had actually killed the holy maiden's clone. This was truly inconceivable. But soon he sneered. Damn it, that's impossible. You must have used some kind of trick, or an elder of the family took action. That's how you succeeded. Otherwise, how could a mere 5-star king like you possibly succeed? In the next moment, the young man let out a cold shout and extended his hand to grab Lin Xian. The void trembled, as if a scroll was being violently rotated by someone. A gigantic palm appeared, surrounded by resplendent, multicolored light. It covered the sky and covered the earth, enveloping Lin Xian. Humph! Lin Xian coldly snorted. With a flick of his finger, a beam of sword qi surged out. Puff! In an instant, the sword Qi pierced through the huge palm and even cut off the young man's arm. Ah! The young man clutched his severed arm and crazily screamed. His eyes were filled with alarm. He did not believe that his opponent was so powerful. I'm trash? You can't even block a single move of mine? Are you trash among trash? Lin Xian sneered, disdain appearing at the corner of his mouth. Ah, damned brat, I'll kill you. The young man's expression was malevolent. Streams of primal chaos, qi, rushed out of his body and transformed into a giant in the void. Buzz! But at this moment, Lin Xian took a step forward, using his extreme speed to instantly arrive in front of the young man. He slapped out with his palm, sending the young man flying. Then he returned to his original position. Bang! The young man with the severed arm was slapped, and half of his face was shattered. Not only that, but his body was also sent flying, crashing into a nearby house. Astonishment, absolute astonishment. The people of the All Beginnings, Holy Land, were all stupefied. The majority of them did not even see Lin Xian's movements clearly. Without a doubt, this was a peak expert, an existence they could not contend with. The saintess of All Beginnings shouted, "Everyone listen to my order. Attack and kill them. As for that bitch Lu Mingyue, I want her alive. Kill." With this order, the martial artists of the All Beginnings Holy Land rushed toward Lin Xian's group of 3. You want to attack? Lin Xian sneered. With a wave of his hand, the ground began to tremble. Endless brilliance shrouded the 100 or so people. Then the sky was filled with dazzling lights. Array after array displayed formidable power, rapidly bombarding those kings. It's an offensive array. Hurry up and defend. In the sky, angry roars resounded. Then, intense collisions rang out, and terrifying energy tore through the void. Do you really think we let you in without any preparation? Lin Xian sneered. His plan was going smoothly, apart from the saintess of All Beginnings and the 2 almighty experts. Everyone else was enveloped by the array. For a while they could not come out. Well, let those people deal with the array. Next, let's play. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He kept glancing at the saintess of All Beginnings and the 2 almighty experts. Humph! You want to attack us? You're really overestimating yourself. The saintess of All Beginnings sneered. No, your opponent is not me, but her. Lin Xian dodged and got out of the way. Zhang Xiao, I didn't expect you to be so vicious as to send people to kill me. But now, it's time to pay back this hatred. A terrifying aura surged from Lu Mingyue's body. She held a willow leaf saber in her slender hand. Lu Mingyue, I admit that you were indeed a genius before, but now you can't be compared with me at all. I'm already a saintess. The resources in my hands are absolutely beyond your imagination. In this period of time, I've far surpassed you. So, attacking me is the biggest mistake you've made. Humph! Lu Mingyue did not answer. Instead, she clenched the willow leaf saber in her hand. She waved her arm, and pieces of saber light flew out. The 2 peerless beauties fought together, and the momentum was very terrifying. There are 2 left. Rousalong, do you choose the red one or the blue one? Lin Xian asked faintly. It was as if they were choosing 2 cabbages instead of almighty experts. Ben Huang will choose the red one. As for the blue one, I'll leave it to you, the Crimson Dragon said. Courting death. The 2 almighty experts were furious. They dared to choose them so casually. They were really reckless. After all, they were almighty experts. Even the saints did not dare to be presumptuous in front of them. But now, the woman and the snake were casually choosing them to fight as if they were cabbages. The 2 almighty experts' faces were unusually gloomy. It seems that you 2 really don't know what's good for you. Although I don't want to fight with ants like you, you have really angered us. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.